Here we go now.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. All right. We got two people that may have accidentally disliked the video, or you're just hate watching, which either way, good for me. Can you guys hear me, see me, all that good stuff? Yes, the World Cup is still happening here in the United States, and I've been watching it. I've been wrapped up all in it. I am not rooting for England, but I am rooting for Jude Bellingham. But we shall see. We have some games tomorrow. I have not watched one French game. I have not watched France play at all this World Cup. I know, shocking. I've watched so many games. I have not watched them play at all. So I'm looking forward to watching these semifinals. Heartbreaking to see some of the people that made it so close, but not so close. But here we are. So I'll be getting into all of that and so much more. Who was part of our watch party last night? You guys missed it. Last night we had a fantastic watch party on my Patreon. You're missing out. You're missing out. Join the Patreon today. If you're watching on YouTube right now, there is a link available, or just head on over to patreon.com/thekempire. All right. All right. Hey, everyone. What's going on? Millie says shocked by that. Me too. I'm like, how did I not watch one game with France? All right. Coco said we had a time. You guys missed it last night. We had a really good time. We even watched Watch What Happens Live together. But if you missed it, you missed it. Sorry. There will be no replay of that. So become a member today. The notifications on Patreon work way better than YouTube. So if you know there's someone that's supposed to be here and they're not here right now, here's your opportunity to remind them we are live for our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. Guys, what about that episode? What about that episode? What an episode. There's a lot for us to unpack, so buckle up. We also have ads to play and things like that. Do me a favor if you haven't already, be sure to like today's video. Easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. All right. Winter says, you're not recapping OC anymore, Kemp? Winter, where have you been? I already told you I wasn't. I'll see if it changes. But what I watched from the premiere episode of OC was much of the same. I'd much rather go live and talk about every other hot topic than talk about OC. I'd rather talk about Big Brother, to be honest with you. I didn't get to watch last night's episode, so that's the only thing with Big Brother I can't same way I can't keep up with Love Island. There's always like multiple episodes, but Love Island was like so many episodes. But Love Island's over. The season finale aired last night. I don't even watch. But I was so happy because I'm tired of seeing the tweets and people talk about it or ask me, are you watching? No, I'm not. I'm not. No apologies, Winter. I get it. You can't be here for every announcement. But I know some of you were like, KEMPIRE, are you not going to recap OC? Nope. Unless something dramatic happens. But OC has never been my city. I have not watched OC chapter and verse like every other city. Meaning like I watched it from the beginning. Of course, we recapped the last few seasons, but I was trying, but I feel like a sneeze is coming on. Look, okay, but no, we're good. Very Fiery says OC seemed crusty. It seemed much of the same, even with the newbie. I mean, the newbie didn't offer much because she had just gotten there, but yeah, We'll see. I mean, I'm not saying that I won't. I won't say that I won't talk about it a little bit. Maybe we'll do a special live this week and we'll talk briefly about the premiere episode while we talk about other hot topics. Because as you know, we don't just talk about Housewives or Bravo here on the channel. We talk about everything. And there was a lot going on over the weekend. So be sure to check out some of the content that you may have missed, including my Netflix documentary debut. Go watch the video. I'm being facetious. Calm down. Some of y'all taking it literal. Go check out my Netflix documentary, Viral Trending Moment. Okay? Mods, can we post a link to the YouTube one? Thank you. All right. Where do we even begin? Miss Parker says OC's on the sideline with the Espos. Pretty much. Look, we've changed a lot. At least I could say for Love and Marriage Huntsville, when we recap that brought in engagement. Like that would be worth it. But this is why I always say to you guys, I don't do things that I really just don't feel passionate about doing. I don't do things for clicks and likes and just for money. Okay? All right? Thank God for sponsors. Shout out to our sponsors for today. Okay? So, hey, Melissa's watching on Facebook. Shout out to everyone watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I hear we are stellar looking on Twitch. So the sound quality and the video quality are just different on Twitch. But I know you guys also want to chat with everyone, but if you are watching in the bushes, you really don't care to chat with anyone, you can watch us on thekempire.com. You could also watch us on Twitch. Just saying. All right. All right. Amina says, which Netflix docu? The Tyra Banks one. America's Next Top Model. Angel says, kept rock the trench coat better than Tyra. Like the dress better than Bia. Oh, well, you know. Not everyone has the hips that don't lie. Okay. All right. Let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta, guys. If you had to rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? So if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on Twitch or X, you're not able to vote in the live chat poll that we have on YouTube. But if you're on YouTube, vote in our live chat poll. But I want to know your individual rating as well. How would you rate this week's episode? This was a mess. Look, this was a mess. Foxy says, you look good here too, KEMPIRE. Thank you so much, Foxy. Yeah, so the video quality, I am streaming in 4K. So I am streaming in 4K on YouTube, but I'm also streaming in 4K on Twitch, which if you compare the two, it's a little different. Coco's on Twitch says, Coco's rating it a 9.7. Kendra rated it a 9.79. Okay, what is going on with these gymnastic numbers? Nikki rated it a 9. All right. I love it. Amina's gave it a 9.99. Okay, why not a 10 then? Okay. Angel says the quality is A1 on Twitch, but YouTube got the chat on lock. Oh, well, there are people in the chat on Twitch. Shout out to everyone on Twitch as well. Okay. Melissa says 7. It was a lot. If I had to rate this week's episode, because I think for the most part the episode was fine. I probably, if the blow up didn't happen at the end, I probably would have rated the episode a 7, just because it was just fine. You know, they're on a girls' trip, they're having a good time, they're playing the games and things like that. But it was an okay episode. But then at the end, I was like, whoa. Did you guys see Phaedra and Eva on Watch What Happens Live last night? Eva, that hair is rocking. I know some people did not like Eva's outfit, but Eva's giving avant-garde. Eva's giving high fashion. So high fashion is not going to look like something that you are going to want to wear on, you know, going to a party or a club or in the streets. So it was definitely giving high fashion. Sometimes when you're giving high fashion, you take a risk and some people are not going to like it. I actually liked Eva's look for what it is. You know what I mean? I really, though, love Phaedra leaning into this bob. And so many people are giving her compliments on it because Phaedra, you are a woman of a particular age. And this whole Instagram baddie energy that you've been giving over the last few years, people are not here for that. Not to say that you don't look good, but we're sort of like, Phaedra, to see what we saw when you first were on Real Housewives of Atlanta to what we see now, I don't know. But the bob, especially when she's an entrepreneur, she's a lawyer, she's an educated woman. We don't need we don't need baddies from Phaedra. So I liked the grown woman energy. But you saw what she did on Watch What Happens Live. She was able to give you that short bob that looked great, but then she still gave you a party with the dress. You know what I mean? So there could be a balance of, no one's saying that you have to dress your age per se, but we also don't want to see baddie Phaedra. You know, because I don't feel like that's really Phaedra. But maybe it is really Phaedra. Look, maybe. Oh, it is also a members only live chat today. So shout out to all our members that are in the live chat. We appreciate you guys being here. All right, let me actually open my notes. I didn't even open my notes to get to the things that I want to talk about today. All right, did it update? Oh, there we go. I just want to make sure everything updates here. All right, guys. Tanya says, I love a good bob. Hey, Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly says, Phaedra always gives good face, but the blue was not it for me. The blue dress that she had on, I didn't mind it because, you know, Phaedra likes to, you know, it's a nighttime show. She wanted to give a little sparkle. She always wants to give a little theatrics. So I didn't mind it. It's not my favorite look, but I love the hair. I do love the hair that she was giving on Watch What Happens Live and in some of the interviews that she did while here in New York. So anyway, Phaedra, Renee says Phaedra's bob looked good and the color was pretty too. Yeah, not this like this harsh blonde or no, I don't even mind the red. Even maybe the red in a bob would have been nice, but like this long hair and you know what they say. I'm not saying this, but you know what they say. Some of the people that speak, they say that when you reach a certain age, your length should be a certain length and shouldn't be like, you know, down to your back. I don't know if I believe that because I do see certain women of a particular age with long hair and it's usually like a long wig or something like that. And they rock it. But on Phaedra, I like a little bob. I like it. And also probably because Phaedra's also a small woman. But that's me. I'm vamping y'all just to get, you know, some people on CP time. So want to give people a moment before we get into the episode because I don't, you know, people will come in like, oh my God, I forgot. What did you talk about this? We're giving people a moment because even though I was a little late, people are still coming on in. Okay. Joe Love says that Shamea throw that whole cordial relationship out the window. We're going to talk about it. I have a lot to say. And look, I kind of do feel bad for Shamea. Anyone else? This is a safe space. You know, over here, we are team ourselves. We don't know these people, and we're watching an edited version of what we're seeing. We also have to keep in mind, I know that there's so much more that has not been said between Shamea and Porsha and whatever family secrets are going on over there. You know what I mean? So we have to keep that in mind. We don't know the full story. Because I know people already have their strong opinions. Even when I was tweeting last night, people were like, you're wrong. You don't know this. And look, y'all fighting in an empty room by yourselves because the minute I see a tweet start gaining traction and a lot of comments, first of all, I don't like the notifications and I get annoyed because then I miss on other tweets that I've talked about that's not Bravo related. So I usually just mute those conversations and y'all fighting in an empty room by yourselves. And I hate that because, you know, there are some people that are, you know, giving great conversation, but then some of y'all start fighting with each other. And I'm like, I don't, like, who are y'all talking to? Like, who are y'all? Like, you're not talking to me, but I have to see your back and forth with someone else. So I just mute it. and honestly, I said what I said, and I'm not changing on it. All right. Okay. Ooh, T says that Shamea is a victim of herself. I do not feel bad for her. She inflicted her own pain. Well, we're going to talk about it because I feel like Shamea, you should have taken my advice last season at the end of the season. Anyone else? She should have taken that advice and not come back. And I know what you were thinking, like, why shouldn't Shamea come back? She has a life. She should, you know, Porsha shouldn't do that. She should allow other people to shine and blah, 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 blah. No, you already know I'm blocked by Porsha. I will always tell it like it is when it comes to Porsha. But y'all keep giving Porsha way too much credit for being a villain and calculated. And I'm not saying that she isn't. I do believe she is calculated, and I don't believe everything that Porsha said in that battle. I also believe that both of them were telling bits of the truth. But at the same time, I feel like you guys have given Porsha way too much credit as being a mastermind. And Porsha literally gave Shamea enough rope to hang herself, and she did. Oh. Yeah, look, I do. But we'll get there. We will get there. This was a mess. This was a mess. I'm just taking my time with it. Before we even get into all the things, Kelly Farrell, aka Potter, right? That's her new name. Yeah, Kelly Potter. Well, not her new name, her maiden name. So shout out to our friends over on Instagram. The girls are fighting. Kelly is back in the news, y'all. They write this: RHOA's Kelly Potter and Nana's Chicken and Waffles were hit with a $223,000 default judgment. A legal dispute involving Nana's Chicken and Waffles LLC began as California judgment enforcement matter that later moved into Georgia's courts. The filing reveals that ARF Financial LLC obtained a judgment in the Superior Court of Los Angeles County against the restaurant and two individuals, Kelly A. Potter / Farrell and Chavallo Mark Farrell, her ex-husband, who were identified as co-obligors under personal guarantees. Court records show that the Georgia judge entered a default judgment, excuse me, y'all, against the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kelly Potter and her restaurant Nana's Chicken and Waffles LLC. According to the order, the judgment was entered after the court found that Nana's Chicken and Waffles LLC and Kelly Potter were properly served with the lawsuit and failed to file a response within the required time frame. So they're saying that they were actually served the lawsuit, but Kelly and her ex did not respond in time. The court awarded a total judgment that includes $217,370.21 in principal damages, $4,723.70 in attorney's fees, $660 in costs from the Superior Court of Los Angeles, $818 in costs for the Georgia action, post-judgment interest at the legal rate. The judgment totals approximately $223,572 before additional interest. On June 3rd, the ARF Financial LLC requested a court order to enforce the payment of the debt owed by Nana's Chicken and Waffles and Kelly A. Potter / Farrell. Damn, Kelly. Again, $70,000 for those teeth, but you got real things that you need to be paying. So normally when we see a story like this, we believe like, oh, they weren't properly served. All they have to do is, go to court and say, no, we weren't properly served. We sorry that we missed it. But they're saying that she was properly served, but she did not respond within the time frame. Doesn't mean that this is completely over for her, but now they're saying that Kelly and her ex-husband owe this company $223,000. I'm not sure for what though. I'm not sure for what, but it's involving their business, Nana's Chicken and Waffles. Oh, Kelly, like this situation is, and then you want to make it seem like Jarvis paid for $70,000 worth of dental work, and you're spending $8,500 on fashions. Like, girl, I agree with Phaedra in this episode when Phaedra's like, you need to get your priorities together. I don't know, but I wanted to give you guys an update before we got into this week's episode because she briefly does talk about all the stresses that she's going through. And then she also talks about Jarvis. Okay. All right, girl. Whatever works for you or not. And Nicole says, teeth or bills? Bills. First of all, we don't even believe that he actually paid the $70,000 for those teeth, because we saw that she posted about the organization, the dental office. She also was on an ad for the dental office in the Atlanta airport. Our spies reported that back. So I don't even believe that she paid $70,000 for those teeth. Unless that's the discounted price after the post, then you got robbed. Right? Because if you're going to post this on a reality show that's going to get millions of viewers, you shouldn't have to pay a red cent for those teeth. Exactly. Mr. Miller says, homeless, not toothless. I guess she took that literally. Tanya says, I don't believe it. Demi says, yes, you did. Demi was the one who called in and says, I uncovered the $70,000 truth. Yes, Demi. Let me bring up because you know we like to cite our sources. Demi was the one who called in and was the first to uncover that story. And then look, Demi, then every other blog ran with it. You saw that, Demi? Every other blog, they were watching us. You know, some of the haters are watching us right now trying to get information for their recaps. But they don't cite their sources. It's okay. All right. It's all right. Whatever. Damn. Tanya says toothless and homeless. Tish says, if she actually lets someone pay $70,000 for the teeth, then she is quite stupid. Well, damn, Tish. She says, especially when she has minor children who need stability. I don't believe she paid $70,000. And if she did, along with a post, because those things do happen. As a influencer myself, there are those deals that you can get a huge discount on something. They offered me to give me a reformer. You know, I've been posting my little Pilates workout. They offered me a reformer, not for free though. This company offered me a reformer. Reformer is what we use in Pilates. Is one of the devices that we use in Pilates. They offered me a reformer. They were like half off. I'm like, where am I putting a reformer in my apartment? But this is what I'm saying, that sometimes when you do influencer work, doesn't mean that you're getting something necessarily for free. You might get a really big discount. And reformers are expensive. But I said, no, thank you. I don't need a reformer. Maybe in the future, when the next apartment or house or whatever it may be. If I was still at the house, maybe I would have considered it. Maybe. But it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't, if she got this work discounted and she still had to pay $70,000, here's the difference though, Kelly. In negotiating this price, you're on a reality show that gets millions of viewers. You should not have to pay for those teeth at all. But here we are. Lanisha says $6,000 reformers are $6,000 to $10,000. Well, this particular company, I think it was like $5,000 or something like that. This particular reformer. But I was like, I don't need a reformer. I go to a studio. And I do mat Pilates too. All right. Yeah. Angel says Keke Palmer has one in her bedroom. I don't like that though. I feel like the bedroom should be the bedroom. I don't want an office in the bedroom. I don't want a Pilates machine in the bedroom. I mean, even if your bedroom is huge. And I saw that. I saw when she gave us a tour of her home, Keke. I don't want a Pilates. I'm surprised, especially as a Virgo, that she would have a Pilates machine in the bedroom. But maybe as a Virgo, she's thinking efficiency. But no. All right. Tanya says, Kempire's like, I'm good. Look at no, I still do my Pilates 4 times a week. Just saying. Here y'all go. Here go Thirst Trap. I should have known Thirst Trap Thelma. Oh, beautiful photo, Thirst Trap Thelma. No, you got me in your trap, Thirst Trap Thelma. Thank you for being a member. Thelma says, you flexible, Kempire? Question mark. I'm going to show y'all how flexible. I'm going to post a Pilates video today on my Instagram, so make sure you're following. Exactly. Tanya says the bedroom is for fun. I agree. Okay, we've digressed. Let's get to the episode. Let's get to the episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. But before we do, I want to say thank you to our friends over at MyFitnessPal. And another quick MyFitnessPal moment. This really changed how I eat. And I don't think it's a feature that enough people utilize. Most of us look at our day as one whole big number. Like, oh, I've hit my calories for the day. But MyFitnessPal Premium breaks it down meal by meal. Because sometimes when I look at my breakfast and I break it down, I've had way more carbs than I did protein or fiber. And this is something I've discussed with my nutritionist as we were going through MyFitnessPal app together. Well, you see, at breakfast, you had way more carbs than you did protein. And based on my body and what I need, especially as someone that does Pilates, that's working out, that walks a lot, I'm definitely going to need more protein, more fiber. But now that I can see it in MyFitnessPal broken down this way, I know what I need to change. Oh, at breakfast, I didn't have enough protein. I didn't have enough fiber. I didn't have enough carbs, depending on your diet. That's the one thing that nobody tells you. It's not only the total that matters, it's how it's broken down. And MyFitnessPal Premium makes that super easy. And as I keep telling you, your nutrition is the foundation of everything. Your sleep, your energy, and your recovery. So seeing it meal by meal made it real for me. Now you can make it real for yourself as well. And of course, with a discount. Go to podcast.myfitnesspal.com and use code KEMPIRE, all uppercase, for 15% off premium. More information on MyFitnessPal will be available in the description. Thanks, MyFitnessPal. I was just reminding myself, like, oh, damn, I forgot to put in my breakfast this morning. MyFitnessPal, guys, be sure to check out the description for more details on MyFitnessPal and your discount. Shout out to those of you that have been hitting me up and telling me that you've been using it and that you're loving it. All right. Now hold on a minute, glasses. You know what? All right. Let's move on. Let's get to this episode. I can't believe we haven't even gotten into the episode, but we've been talking about the things. We've been getting into some of it, right? All right, guys, do me a favor if you haven't already. Be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. And don't forget the KEMPIRE After Dark live show returns to New York City September 25th at the Green Room 42. There's a live stream option. There are meet and greet tickets available. But of course, there are in-person tickets. So if you want to meet me, if you want to see the show up close and personal, get your tickets today. Ticket information will be available in the description. All right? Exactly. There goes Daniel. Said, does everyone have their tickets for September 25th? I don't know. Ticket information, again, will be available in the description. Let's get into this. So the women wake up, okay? I know it feels like it's been forever, and that's why in this week's episode, they give us a recap of what's been going on when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. We only missed 1 week. But it felt like we hadn't seen them in a long time. So the women wake up, they're having breakfast. Phaedra went to see what Tasty Black was. Remember, that was the lesbian corn site that K. Michelle had mentioned. And Phaedra says that it's blocked. It's blocked in the UK ever since at some point in 2025. They blocked Tasty Black. So Porsha jokes and says that she suggested that Phaedra should just screen record it and check back later when she's back in the US. She said that's what she did. So Porsha, as soon as she went back to her room, she was like, let me see what Tasty Black is, because now she's a full-on lesbian. Her word, she's gay. Did you guys see the video of Sway and Porsha this week? Where Porsha, I guess they're in the Bahamas, and Porsha's dancing and Sway is hyping her up. Look, Prenup P, that's what stood out to me. I don't remember any of the other names that she had given for Porsha, but she at one particular point was like, Prenup P. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, not Prenup P. Okay. All right. Do you guys think this relationship will last? From one to forever, as they said on Watch What Happens Live last night. Do you think that this relationship will last? Okay. FK Fig says, Kemp, I'm trying to watch this and be on Zoom at the same time. You have a meeting right now? I love that for us. Thank you. Thank you. Don't have me up loud, though, because I might, trigger someone. Omar said, here go Omar. Omar says you probably got to have a VPN. I don't think it's that deep. You can watch your corn when you get back to the States, right? You can check out Tasty Black. Okay, honest moment. Did any of you in the chat go to check what Tasty Black was? I didn't, because I don't want to watch no lesbian corn. But good for you. No judgments. Anyone in the chat that's willing to say that you were curious and you went to go look. Okay, Coco on Twitch says Porsha charade won't last. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe this relationship, y'all. I'm not saying that I don't believe that they've hooked up and that there is a sexual relationship. I don't believe that it's going to last. And I think Porsha is very much using this as a part of her next chapter, her storyline. This is when people say that Porsha just does things. I don't see this lasting. But we shall see. And when I say lasting, Porsha will ride something out for at least 2-3 years, like she did with Simon. I feel like if Porsha meets the right millionaire, billionaire, she's going to drop Sway like a bad habit. Anyone else? I feel like she's going to drop Sway like a bad habit. Let her find someone that actually has, she probably already has someone that has money, but Porsha was just like, you can be on this show. This would be great for your business. I'm just saying. That's where I feel like Porsha is very calculated and manipulative. She will manipulate the audience. But here we are. Big Miss Muffin said, I don't believe Porsha's faux relation. I believe that it's a situation. I do believe that it is a sexual relationship, but I don't believe that it's a deep relationship. I don't believe that it will last, but we shall see. I wonder what Dennis thinks. All right. So that's how they start breakfast. Then they go outside to do some group activities. Okay. K. Michelle doesn't understand when people get money, why they do these things that's not of their culture. K. Michelle did have me giggling a couple of times during this week's episode. See, K. Michelle, you should just rode this out. Instead of getting in your feelings and flipping out on social media, you should just rode this train out. Okay, but then some might say, well, no, Kempire, she was being a good reality TV person. She got people talking. She even got people watching the show because of her antics. Y'all believe that she's more calculated. Y'all giving K. Michelle way more credit than she probably deserves. I don't think she was being calculated. I do think Pisces can be calculated, but I don't think she was being calculated. I think she was definitely having an emotional moment. I think she was reacting to the fact that people weren't loving her at first, and they were loving, other people on the cast. So she was reacting emotionally like Pisces do. Calm down, Pisces. And I think she should have just stayed off of social media, rode this train, and people would have been back on her side. Maybe. I don't know if people are back on her side. But, I found her enjoyable in this week's episode. All right. So Shamea says she's used to flipping big logs. Hey, Gerald. Y'all gonna keep saying that this Shamea hate is so forced. Okay. And look, I always say it's not hate because I don't know Shamea to hate her. I really don't hate Shamea. But I was saying this yesterday when I was live on TikTok that I get the ick. You know how you get the ick from certain people? Specifically when you're dating someone. I'm not dating Shamea, but you get what I'm saying? I get the ick sometimes from Shamea because the way that Shamea just conducts herself. And I was like, okay, Shamea. Not you think that you're funny, but you're actually corny and cringy. But okay, so they're playing with they're playing with the logs. They're throwing up the logs. Okay, so she says she's used to flipping big logs. Hey, Gerald. All right. So Angela, when she goes to flip her log, she's like, "Oh, it's an oak tree." The man's like, "It's pine." It's pine, ma'am. Phaedra for being, Phaedra shades Angela for not knowing what she's doing. And she's like, leave the sports to Charles, have Charles Oakley stick to the sports, only for her to go up to try and do this. She can't even place her hands right to do it. So for all the smarts that she claims to have, she's the one that's having a problem with the positioning of her hands. All right. So they play that game. Then they play the throwing of the hammer. It was a cute little moment. Cute little games. Okay. What did you guys think of the outfits? I have to say this, though. Porsha and Shamea aren't getting along. They had very similar outfits on. Y'all notice that? The little bodysuits? Porsha had her fur on, though, on top. All right. Both bodies are bodying. Body-yaddy-yaddying. All right. That part. Superstar 7 says Gerald won't even film, but Shamea talking about his log. Yeah. That's the only way that we'll get a mention of Gerald. Okay. Or see Gerald. All right. We saw Gerald a couple times in this episode, but not physically. Okay. All right. So let me go back. So they end up playing tug of war. I feel like we do tug of war on every housewife show at some particular point. So K. Michelle decides that she's not going to do it because it would be uneven numbers. Okay. So K. Michelle says that she doesn't know anything about Scotland's healthcare, so she's not going to participate. Scotland, the UK has better healthcare than the US. Just saying. But she says she don't know nothing about their healthcare. And look, if you're traveling, the last thing you want to do is go to somebody's hospital. Even if they have the best healthcare. The last thing that you want to do is go to somebody's hospital. All right. So we got Team Sturdy. So they start pulling. We got Angela and Cynthia on one side, and they even got Pinky on one side. And we already know who's going to win this one. But Kelly ends up on her back, with her feet in the air. All right. Kelly says she ended up on her back, but not with anyone's husband or boyfriend. Why are the editors so damn shady? They flash to Porsha in that moment. And I'm just like, they are so damn shady. But I appreciate the shade. Because Kelly's like, I may have ended up on my back, but I didn't end up on my back with someone's husband or boyfriend. And Kelly didn't look. And although people say Kelly was shading Porsha, or I mean, yes, she was, but it was production that showed Porsha. The editors are the one that showed Porsha in that moment. Okay. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Aurora says, no, we struggling with healthcare in UK. Uh-oh. You got to go private. Uh-oh. Well, then I stand corrected. You were right, K. Michelle. See? You see how you do that? You see how you take accountability and say, well, no, you're right. I was wrong for now. Tanya says, we love a good shade. Mm-hmm. Thirst Trap says, can we really blame Gerald? He's busy making money. You see their lifestyle. I mean, no, I can't blame him. But at the same time, I wouldn't force him to be on a reality show about your life and husbands. All right. All right. So the ladies play that game. They end up going back to the estate, and the women try haggis. And when you look at haggis, it looks like like a treat. It looks like a sweet treat. But no, it's not. Haggis is the intestines and brain of a lamb. I would have tried it just because I feel like food is a part of the culture when going to traveling. So I always try, I'm a picky eater. I always try the things. So I would have tried it, but I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. They even did a vegan version. I would have definitely tried the vegan version because the vegan version is not brain, lamb brain or intestines. I don't know what they made, but shout out to Porsha and Phaedra for being very, thoughtful, thinking of Pinky. I would have like, oh, can I try the vegan one? That's what I would have tried. And Pinky said the vegan one was very tasty. Okay. I wonder what you put in like a vegetarian version or vegan version of haggis. The fact that they even had that now, because a few years ago, they wouldn't have never had like vegan versions of any of these things. Toya says lamb version of chitlins. Basically, Toya. Basically. I don't like chitlins either, though. I've had liver, though. I've had liver and kidneys. Jamaicans will eat liver and kidneys. I don't mind that, but I haven't had that in years. Apparently, it's very good for you, though, liver and kidney. I don't know about the other stuff. I don't know about the brain. Okay? Superstar 7 said Pinky had falafel. That's what it looked like. All right. Exactly. Aurora says that was nice to think of Pinky. I mean, you're on an international trip. I would hope so. Kayla Nicole says it was probably like black beans. Probably. All right. Let me see. Carolina says, KEMPIRE, when you're picky, you don't try that. No, when I'm traveling, I'll try all the stuff. I will try all the stuff. I won't necessarily like have like a full-on bite, but I'll try it. Forever Tyranny says it was probably mushrooms. Okay. All right. Aurora says I need the liver for the iron. Yeah. All right. Liver and onions, Omar said. Okay. Thirst Trap says Jamaicans love a liver. I can't say that I love a liver. I haven't probably had liver since I was a kid. I don't mind it, but I didn't know any better either. I mean, it's supposed to be very good for you, but we've digressed. All right. Let's move on. So they try the haggis. Porsha tries the haggis, and then she just ends up like throwing it up. Angela, for me, also had some of the best confessionals in this week's episode because Angela in her confessional, she says, I'm surprised Porsha had a gag reflex. They're going to get you at this reunion. I'm sure they got you at this reunion for all of your confessional antics, Angela. Angela, isn't this a good week? I'm glad that you got off the internet. Was Angela tweeting last night? You see how a couple of weeks ago, Angela, you were getting it and you were crashing out on social media. Now people aren't even talking about what happened last week. Yeah, just leave it be. Leave it be till we get to the reunion. Okay? Because Angela was crashing out because she's like, damn, and now I got to wait 2 weeks before we're able to settle this. We didn't even settle it this week. We just moved on to something else. But I told you, I found it very interesting because Angela was getting it. Shamea was very quiet. And I said, oh, that reunion probably did not go well for Angela. I don't think it did. Based off of what Phaedra said last night on Watch What Happens Live, they said that Shamea did the most crying at the reunion. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. All right. Moving on. So Porsha has no gag. She's surprised that Porsha has a gag reflex. Okay. Me too. Speaking, you don't need a gag reflex. Our friends over at Factor. Okay, I get it. It's not a new year, but it can still be a new you. As you know, we've partnered with Factor many, many times, and this is no different. But let me paint a picture for you. Hunger strikes, and you're exhausted. I know it, especially on a busy day. There's something healthy in your fridge or pantry that you should be making, but you don't have it in you. Relatable, right? For me, eating healthy isn't a willpower problem. It's a setup problem until I found Factor. As you know, I have a busy schedule. Sometimes there's breaking news and I do not have the time in me to cook that meal or prepare for that meal. With Factor, I'm hitting my nutrition goals this season without the planning, grocery shopping, or cooking. What I also love about Factor is that you're getting great quality meals, dietitian approved meals. Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's weight loss, overall nutrition, more protein, or GLP-1 support. For strength and workout recovery, check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. As I've mentioned many times before, Factor meals are crafted with functional ingredients from lean proteins, colorful veggie, whole foods, and healthy fats. Factor bans 175 plus ingredients, no artificial colors, no sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, and no refined seed oils. And most importantly, convenience. Ready in 2 minutes, Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers straight to your door so you have more time for everything you love this spring. Head to factormeals.com/KEMPIRE50 off and use code KEMPIRE50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details. More details on Factor and your discounts will be available in the description. Thanks, Factor. This episode is sponsored by RHOA. Let's bust a myth real quick. Everyone assumes that GLP-1s cost an arm and a leg. That assumption alone stops people from even starting. I've heard it from friends that wanted to take advantage of our code recently. But it's not true. There's a more affordable way than you think. RHOA has the lowest cost options out there, insurance or cash. Their insurance checker is free. Submit your card, skip the hold music, skip the confusing phone calls, and in a few days, you get a full report on what's covered. No coverage? No problem. RHOA still has lower cost, FDA-approved, cash pay, GLP-1 options, pills included, shipped straight to your door. If I needed this, this is the exact option that I would use. Go to rho.co/Kempire to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/Kempire. Go to rho.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Thanks, Ro. And we're back. We're back. Shout out to all of our sponsors, guys. Be sure to check out the description for more details on all of our sponsors. We appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to all of our members. We appreciate you guys as well. Shadrika, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Shadrika says that Shamea showed her slip last night. She is seriously hurt by losing this friendship. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Last night definitely confirmed it. Tyrese, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Tyrese says, I grew up with 2 sets of Shamea's cousins. Excuse me? The Mortons are a lovely, upstanding family in the community. It's hard to hear that mess last night. Oof. Oh my gosh, Tyrese. Oh my goodness. I mean, but every family has drama. And not to say that what Porsha said is even fact, but every family has drama. Okay. Tish, thank you so much for being a member and our Kingsguard. She says, when a friendship ends, do you still keep your former friend's secret or do you let the choppers fly? I personally let the secrets die with the person. I forget about them and their business. Well, Tish, I agree with you. I agree with you. And this is why I said she should have left being on this show, because, and I think that's why people tell me stuff, because they know basically, even if we weren't friends, I'm not spilling all of your tea. I mean, there's still people that I was friendly with that I have not spilled their tea, because what's the point? Even if, I mean, it would take a lot. I am a Taurus, but it would take a lot for me to spill their tea. If they were spilling tea about me in these streets, then I would probably spill the tea. But it would take a lot. It would really, really take a lot. A lot. And I mean a lot. I would have to care. All right. Omar says, if I remember. That part too, Omar. I mean, I remember everything. Elephant brain. But, all right. Oh, my goodness. Tyrese, yes. Tyrese came through with an exclusive about the families. Oh, Lord, Tyrese, you're going to have to call in. You're going to have to call in. All right. So back to our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, guys. Be sure to let me know how you'd rate this week's episode, your thoughts on this week's episode as well. Lanisha says, I don't care to talk about you no more. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. But again, if someone's in the streets talking about you or on a reality show trying to spill your tea, then that's one thing. But, Tiki says, I think Dirty Diana, damn, brought this mess to the show. She shot first. How so? How so? When she said what she said about Shamea being be careful of the one that be careful of the one that brings the bone or something like that. That why? Daphne said, that's true. That's a true Taurus. I'm the same way. It would take a lot for me to spill someone's tea. They would have to really betray me in a bad way, like sleep with my man kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You know what I mean? The K perspective says, the unpopular opinion, but I do feel like Angela has a lot to do with her public fallout. Yes, Shamea should have told Porsha how she was feeling last season, but Angela brought it on camera. I mean, I'm not saying that Drew or Angela are innocent in regards to the information that they brought back. But for me, if you've had such a long friendship with someone, it shouldn't take this reality show or one or two people in this group to bring our friendship to this point. That says to me your friendship really wasn't that solid in the first place. You know what I mean? I don't want to give Drew and Angela that power, because I feel like there was a lot more happening outside of this friendship. And according to Porsha, during the last reunion, she had heard the same thing from people that are not in this group. So Shamea may not be completely innocent. I'm not taking Porsha at her word, because, you know, Porsha do lie. Tiara says, team go naked. Now she would go naked ambassador too. All right, let's get back to the situation. So the group goes back in and they end up having lunch. So Drew talks about the night before and how the group came together because they were all checking in on Kelly, like, how's Kelly doing? Because, you know, her ex-husband filed this lawsuit against Bravo. And they had that moment during the last episode where they really bonded. And it was a really beautiful moment. It was probably one of the very few moments that we've seen actual sisterhood in this new iteration of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Porsha talks about her and Kelly making peace. And she's like, you know, I'm open to it. What stood out to me in that moment wasn't even what Porsha or Kelly were saying and how they made peace and how they don't want to fight each other anymore. I was paying attention to Shamea's face. And for me, I'm glad that I did, because for the fact that nothing, again, we're watching edited version, something could have happened at the table and we completely didn't get to see it. But from what we saw, nothing happened at that table for Shamea to run to her bedroom, FaceTime her mama, and start crying. Did anyone else get like confused? Like, why are you calling your mom? I thought everything was good. So she's already acting different. All right. So in that moment at the table, Porsha is saying, you know, I'm glad that we could have our conversation and be all good and blah, blah, blah. I'm paying attention to Shamea's face. Shamea's face she's trying not to show a reaction, but I can tell like Shamea is not happy, because she literally, apparently, I don't know, it was the night before in the car, saying that the only person that she has here is is Kelly, which offended K. Michelle because K. Michelle feels like she's been there for Shamea. So the fact that Shamea feels like the only person that she has in this group is Kelly, and now Kelly's making peace with Porsha, now she really feels left out. Aurora says that speech was fake, fake, fake. Porsha's speech? Could be, but what wasn't fake? Shamea's reaction. Because Shamea was really trying to hold her faith in that moment. But I could tell Shamea was not happy, even though she was like nodding her head, trying to show agreement. Yeah, we can make peace. Nope. Shamea was not happy. Anyone else peep that? All right. So let me go back. Oh, Shamea says that it's crazy that, and this is what Shamea says in her confessional, because her facial expression in that moment actually was quite telling, but she confirms it in the confessional. Shamea says that it's crazy that Porsha is able to forgive other people, but not her. She says that she's not buying it, but she's like, but hey, good luck. We have to remember these confessions are filmed after the fact, but this would have been a perfect moment to get a in the moment confessional. So Shamea says that she's not buying it. She doesn't believe this kumbaya moment between Kelly and Porsha. All right. So Shamea goes back to her room and FaceTimes her mom. And she starts getting emotional and crying. And she's like, I had the situation with Angela. She's accusing me of sleeping with my neighbor's husband. And then she says that her and K. Michelle made up. But, things just feel a little bit different. All right. So then in the same time, while she's FaceTiming with her mama, we have this scene with Pinky and K. Michelle. So K. Michelle says that things don't feel the same between her and Shamea. She says that Shamea is acting different. And look, we're watching an edited version, so we don't know what the interactions are really looking like between K. Michelle and Shamea. But K. Michelle in this moment in the conversation with Pinky, she's like, yeah, it feels a little bit different. And then she also says that in the car, Shamea claims that the only person that she has in this group is Kelly. So K. Michelle is bothered by that because she's just like, what about me? I've defended you. I've been there for you. But you're saying that the only person in this group is that you have in this group is Kelly? Okay. So she doesn't understand that. And Pinky says that she sees that Shamea is fighting everyone. She says, like, how are you fighting everyone? And then they flash back to the different moments over the last season and this season where it appears that Shamea is fighting everyone, okay? Pinky says that there's like this cloud over Shamea and she wants Shamea to heal from it. So now even the women that had Shamea's back are now seeing a different side of the situation. And I know some of the Porsha haters are going to be like, oh, they're just choosing a different team. They're not loyal. They're all just trying to align themselves with Porsha. Y'all got to start seeing things for the way that they actually are. And that Shamea could be setting herself up. And not, it can't be, it's everybody now against Shamea. Okay? But K. Michelle says that she's been trying to, be there for her. Pinky asked her, like, what was your reaction when she said that the only person that she had was Kelly? And she was like, I did a phaser, like, ooh. Look, I'm like, oh, all right. Basically acting clueless to the situation. But then K. Michelle, at the end of their conversation, she's like, I've seen this girl turn into a monster. And I'm watching this episode, I'm like, damn, like, what did we miss? Because I'm not saying that Shamea is innocent, but I'm like, damn, okay, now you guys are saying that she's got this dark cloud over her. You're saying that she's a monster. But again, we're watching an edited version. They probably are seeing a change in Shamea because I thought after the conversation that K. Michelle and Shamea had in last week's episode that they should be good. But apparently Shamea was still acting different. And K. Michelle's just like, why are you acting different? Like, what's going on? So I don't know. And again, this is why I say to the audience, I know you guys get very passionate about this show, but you're watching an edited version of this show. So we really can't have one person's side over the other because it's sort of like, wait, was there more to it? Unless you were literally there, you really can't pick a side. You can only base your opinion off of what you see on the show. And based on what we see on the show, I can't I can't make Shamea out to be this monster. I could see a dark cloud because you literally go from the breakfast table to your room and call your mama and start crying. And I'm like, wait, what happened? What did I miss? What did I miss? So I don't know. Okay, Thirst Trap says, I think they're exaggerating. That's the way it came across. Because I was like, wait, now how all of a sudden she's a monster and she's got this dark cloud. Foxy says, a like K. Michelle is an innocent saint. There are other elements to be considered here. All right. All right. Let me say thank you. Omar, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Omar says they should have invited the moms to the reunion and they could have had a sit down one-on-one. Now that would have been a reunion. They're probably waiting for next season. They're probably going to try and have a one-on-one. I don't think those women are going to do a sit down. They didn't sign up for this show. I don't think they're going to have a sit down. If anything, they'll have a sit down with their daughters talking about what really went down. Because I know what you're probably thinking. This is going to be Shamea's last season. Shamea wants this peach more than she wants that friendship. She does. She wants this peach more than she wants the fame. She wants everything associated with it. You saw what she said on the Carlos King interview. She's like, there's a lot of really great things that has happened because I've been here. I got that Wayfair thing. And then she was on Angela Yee's show. She's like, I wouldn't be here with you, Angela, if I wasn't on this show. She's not going to give this up. And things are just it's just going to get worse for her. Call me now. You can say I'm a psychic. If Shamea comes back next season, I said this last season. Who remembers when I said this last season? If Shamea comes back this season, it's not going to end well for her. If she comes back for a third season, it's not going to end well for her. I don't want it to end this way for her, but it's not going to end well for her. V, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. V says Shamea's feelings were hurt because Porsha forgave Kelly and not her. Yeah. And maybe, look, I will give you guys this. Did Porsha forgive Kelly to continue an alienation of Shamea? Could be. I wouldn't put it past her. Because she's probably thinking, well, if I forgive her, then Shamea is the only one that's on the outs with the rest of the group. Johnny, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support and for you being a member. Thank you. All right. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta's latest episode. They were on a 2-week hiatus, but we're back. If you're watching the replay of this, be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate this week's episode. Are you Team Shamea or Team Porsha or Team yourself? Let me know, and let me know your thoughts, okay? All right, Aurora says, I don't know, KEMPIRE. I still have hope for Shamea. Look, anything is possible because look at Drew and how she's come. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just have a feeling I don't think it's going to change for Shamea. Not in this current group. Not in this current group. All right. So then we have this moment. So the women are getting ready for dinner and whatnot, and they come down to meet. And Pinky's been dealing with some business stuff because, Pinky, and look, it's come a full circle moment because I don't know if you guys saw the announcement where in Ohio, I believe it's Ohio, right? Where Pinky is franchising her business Slutty Vegan, and there are two Slutty Vegans coming to that state. So that's fantastic. So it's like a full circle moment for Pinky. All right. But Pinky is going through it during this trip. She's dealing with a lot. There's money coming out. Like she said, within 24 hours, she's spent $20,000. Okay. So she's on the phone with her vice president and they're talking about this and she's getting emotional. She says she doesn't have any, if she doesn't have a profitable month, it comes out of her own pocket. She says that $20,000 came out of her pocket in less than 24 hours. Angela's just like, Pinky lets her business and her money identify her. And she's like, there's more to life and there's more to her than money. Pinky says that she's feeling the pressure and she says that everyone comes to her. When there's a problem, everyone comes to her. And she's like, what am I paying you for? And this goes back to the top of the season when we had questions about her husband not being supportive and her basically calling him out and then him sort of like downplaying, oh, but I was there for you, but I was there for you. And she was like, no, I felt like you weren't there for me. But he tried to downplay that. So it sounds like, I don't think Pinky needs, everyone's saying, oh, he should pay off her debt and she shouldn't file for bankruptcy. No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. it has more to do with him not being there for her emotionally. She didn't need him to be there financially. There are reasons why there are bankruptcy, those different chapters of bankruptcy available. You shouldn't take, if you have liquid cash, your husband had the liquid cash. No, if you can file for bankruptcy and you don't have to pay anything and you can keep the liquid cash in the house, that's the smarter business move. But I think she's more talking about him not being there for her emotionally the way that she needed. Because she said that this business stuff really affected their marriage. She wasn't home because she was so busy working. So she really wasn't there for her children. And then when she would come home, she did not want to sleep with him because she was dealing with all the stress of everything that's going on. So she said it almost affected their marriage. But it didn't. They're still together. They're still rocking strong. Okay. Lexi says $20,000 is a purse on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She does later say, Pinky, that this is, rich people's problems that she's complaining about. But she gets really emotional. And Angela sits down with her. And look, this is where I like to talk about astrological signs. Because as Tauruses, yeah, we love to spend the money. But our view on money can be very different than other astrological signs. Okay? Especially our earth sign brethren. The Capricorns, they're not, they can be a little cheap. Okay? I dated a Capricorn. But I was the one like, no, spend that. Look, no, not spend that. Spend that. So us Tauruses, our relationship with money is very different than our Virgo brethren and sistren and our Capricorn brethren and sistren as well. Okay. Foxy says I fell for Pinky. I fell for Pinky too. But I also kind of understood where Angela was coming from. She's just like, you got to change your perspective on money. She's like, money comes and goes. We also have to keep in mind, too, outside of astrological signs, Angela is also in finance. She works in finance. She has a financial firm very much like RHOA. So her perspective probably also helps her have the perspective that she has. All right? A Way of Key says Capricorns are cheap, but they're about their money. Yeah. They're definitely cheap, but they are about their money, and they always keep a coin. Capricorns. All right. Daniel says, spend that. Okay. Aries, y'all are cheap too. Y'all are cheap. Y'all like expensive things, but y'all not going to spend it. I'm also the Taurus in an Aries life saying, no, yeah, get it. Get it. All right. Get it. Way of Key says that Virgos, we aren't cheap, but we'll never live paycheck to paycheck either. Well, that part. All right. Capricorns are cheap. Thirst Trap Thelma says, I was with Angela. She just lost millions also. Well, yeah, she did lose a couple of million. And she's like, look, I'm fine. But let me twerk on a fence and see the other side of this. Some people will say, well, Angela, you got a millionaire husband, so you could feel that way. Remember, Angela said when she got with Charles, she said she was already a millionaire. Okay? I know we're watching a reality show and you don't get a full perspective on people's lives, but we have to pay attention to some of the things that they did tell us. She said she was already a millionaire when she met Charles. And that's probably why Charles took her serious and married her versus some of these other women that he would date. Because look, she has her own. Is she the best when it comes to, like, everyone's going to throw out the whole, properties that she lost money on. But as Karen Huger once said, you got to make millions in order to owe millions. All right? Okay? You got to make millions in order to owe millions. All right? So Winter says we are not cheap in regards to Aries. We are careful. You guys are very careful. You're not cheap. I definitely wouldn't say Aries are cheap. But you guys are very careful. You're not just spending the money. All right? All right. Tiara says, how is she a millionaire? Because she has her. That's the thing. We're watching a chapter of people's lives. I know some of you think that Angela's just a housewife, but no, she has her own. Remember, she's in finance. She has her own business, a couple of other businesses. She doesn't just do real estate. All right. Ooh, Tiki Toon says, I am not trusting Angela and her financial perspective. She has been sued. I'm going to say this, Tiki. A lot of people with money have been sued. With a lot of money have been sued. All right. Ooh. Ooh, Miss Taj says, Kempire must mean a March Aries. Y'all fight amongst yourselves. Okay. Y'all fight amongst yourselves. Ooh. Tanya says, Aries are the worst husband. Look, I'm talking about Aries women. I don't know nothing about no Aries man. All right. The only Aries man, sorry to the Aries men that are about to be offended. What I've noticed about Aries men that I don't notice about Aries women, I think Aries women are smart. Aries men seem the opposite of smart. Okay. All right. Oh, damn. All right. Let's move on. Okay, we've digressed per usual. So Pinky said she was about to quit and become an ambassador for Go Naked Hair. And Porsha said, come on over. We get this bag together. All right. We can get this bag together. So everybody about to be a Go Naked Hair model. Okay. All right. So they get into the Sprinter. They're on their way to this shop, this kilt shop. All right. So in the Sprinter, Kelly, what the hell is Kelly wearing? Angela makes a joke in her confessional and made me laugh. She's like, "What? It's like, what is this? Is this coming to America? Did Shamea give Kelly a job at McDowell's?" Literally, that's what the outfit that she's giving. Like, what costume is this? And you're spending $8,500 a month on fashion, Kelly. Like, I can't even help you. Like, what is going on? What in the McDowell's was she wearing? At one particular point, I didn't talk about this. When her feet were up in the air during the tug of war, she mimics it during her confessional in this same exact pleather outfit. I don't know what, or latex outfit. I don't know what it is. Okay. But she lifts her feet up in the air. And so we get to see another viewpoint of this terrible dress. And the bottom part of the dress is dry looking. So I get it why you had to oil down this outfit that's I don't know what, just not great. So she lifts up her legs during this confessional and we see the bottom part is not oiled at all. Oh my God, just a mess. Anyway, but Angela had me cracking up. Angela, she was like, she's like, is this coming to America? At one particular point, Angela says, like, bitch, clock out. We are on vacation. Angela, I love Angela. I don't care what anyone says. Angela says, clock out. I'm going to curse. Get your kids out the room. Angela says, clock, because it's funnier when you say the words. Again, I'll be cursing all up a storm at KEMPIRE After Dark. Go get your tickets today, guys. September 25th at the Groove 42. Livestream tickets are available. Angela says in her confessional, she says, clock out, bitch. We are on vacation. Angela. Oh my God, Angela. Angela said, clock out, bitch. We are on vacation. I don't care what anyone says about Angela. You can hate her one week, but she's always going to bring us back in with these confessionals. Top tier. Top tier. All right. Aurora says, when I saw her lift up her legs, I thought of you, Kempire, with that greasy dress. OMG, Kelly. Can I just say this one more time? Angela is like, what is this coming to America? She's like, Shamea gave you a job at McDowell's? She says, clock out, bitch. She's like, bitch, clock out. We are on vacation. I can't. That made me howl, okay? Kelly opens up about her new man, Jarvis. So like everyone's like, wait, you got a new man? Blah, 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 blah. And she says that, Shamea introduced them at the Hawks game. Phaedra says, these girls need to get their priorities together. You're spending $70,000 on teeth and you got bills. And I don't always agree with Phaedra, but she ain't tell a lie. She did not tell a lie. Like, why are you spending $70,000 on teeth? We know she didn't spend $70,000 on teeth. Or Jarvis, okay? That was an influencer's discount. Okay? Sharjay said, I thought of KEMPIRE too. Y'all saw that? I meant to take a picture of it so I could bring it here to see her feet up in the air and the dry part of the dress. I said, I can't with Kelly right now. I can't help you, Kelly. I can't. All right. So Kelly says that her new man pumps her up. So they do. I know Kelly really tries to be funny in her confessionals, and sometimes it lands, and sometimes it doesn't. It's like her man pumps her up. He's pumping her up. Okay. She also reveals to the women that her man's a Pisces. She's a Pisces too. And look, Pisces and Pisces do go well together, but she says she's never dated a Pisces man. And I said to her, I was like, good luck, girl. The reason why Jarvis does not want to be known on television, which I think it's not her, I think he doesn't want to be seen on television because he probably has multiple relationships. That's very Pisces man behavior. I'm not talking about Pisces women. I'm talking about Pisces men. Shout out to the Pisces men that are in the chat. It's okay. Y'all a little bit of a cheater. Okay? Y'all a little bit of a liar. Okay? Okay? She says she's never dated a Pisces man. All right. All right. Good luck with that. So then they start talking about your pelvic floor. And Drew says that she goes to physical therapy for her issue. And they start talking about, Phaedra swears to know everything. She's like, yeah, you have to have sex sometimes to lift your pelvic floor, because if you don't, it could drop out. I don't know anything about this, y'all. You guys will let me know. I don't know if that's possible for your pelvic floor to drop out. Okay. I don't know about that. But Drew says something that I did not believe. Drew just be saying stuff too. Drew says that in physical therapy, they literally finger you in order to lift your pelvic floor. Ladies in the chat, I've been to physical therapy. I never heard of this before. Angela also had a very stellar line in her confessional talking about this. She was like, where are you going for physical therapy? Are they taking new clients? Do they do that at physical therapy, or are they doing something else? Okay. So Porsha decides to lead the women in doing, this is Kegels, right? What Porsha was doing. Porsha was like, breathe and suck, release and tighten. So they are literally doing it. And at one particular point, this is a very grown conversation. Get your kids out of here. Porsha is leading the women in the sprinter to do it. Shamea's like, I don't want to keep doing this because I might end up releasing. Okay, I was like, what is happening right now? Okay. Tammy says, Drew needs to get a lawyer. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. Allie says, that sounds like a physical happy ending. I don't know what's happening at PT for Drew, but fine. Portia's leading the women in a Kegel exercise. She even does it in her confessionals. And she's like, keep going. Keep asking me questions. I'm going to keep doing it. Miss Parker says, I can assure you PT is not, quote, fingering anyone. Oh my gosh. I don't even have a segue for this, but I just want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Basket Lather. I know y'all see it. Y'all see it. You guys have been complimenting me on my beard for the longest. And it's brought to you by our friends over at Baskin Lather. I've been talking about it even when they weren't a sponsor of our live. Baskin Lather has done a number on my beard. I told you I was going to keep using their beard products and see if I see a difference. But what I've also loved is hearing all of you talk about using the products since we brought them here on the channel. But also, some of you have been using Baskin Lather way before we started using it over here, and you talked about how it's helped you over the years. But the proof is in the pudding. I see it. I've gotten compliments, not just from you, but people in the real world that are seeing my beard. The beard is looking luscious. But I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't keeping up with the full beard system that they have, because not only do they have the beard shampoo, the beard conditioner, they have the beard oil, they have the beard magic. I don't know what's in it. I mean, I could just look. But they also had the beard balm. I'm going to be honest with you. For the first few weeks, I was keeping up with the entire system. But the one thing that I have been keeping up with is the beard shampoo and conditioner. And even just those two things have made a huge difference. So I'm going to promise you that I'm going to try my best and start using the beard oil and the beard magic and the beard balm, okay? Just because I feel like that's going to make an even bigger difference if those two other products from Baskin Lather made the difference. But it's not just about me. They have products, more products for all of you with hair on your head. Okay, fine. We'll talk about the people with you with hair on your head. Okay. Baskin Lather, they have so many different products for your hair as well. A nourishing hair balm for curly or kinky hair that helps reduce hair breakage and add shine. When used regularly, and the beard's proof, users have seen results in about 3 months, made with ingredients that penetrate hair strands without clogging pores. Non-greasy formulation with no petroleum or lanolin. More importantly, I love the fact that this is a Black-owned business. I've told you before, I'm going to tell you again. This business was started when a dermatologist misdiagnosed CEO Shayna's younger sister and said her hair may never grow back. The family took things in their own hands and launched this business. And they've not just helped their own family, but they've helped so many more people, including you that are watching. As always, I've gotten you a discount. Explore viral bestsellers and products of healthier hair of all types from Baskin Lather. Go to baskinlatherco.com and use code KEMPIRE for 20% off. That's 20% off at baskinlatherco.com with code KEMPIRE. More information on Baskin Lather will be available in the description. Thanks, Baskin Lather. Yes, shout out to Baskin Lather for sponsoring today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I see some of you in the chat that actually use Baskin Lather. Love it. Don't forget to use our discount code. Go load up on all the things. I'm definitely seeing a difference with my beard. Okay. All right, let me say thank you. We had quite a few super chats, guys. We're almost at 1,000 likes, but we have over 2,600 of you watching on multiple platforms. So keep liking the video, keep sharing the video. We did do a watch party last night that you guys missed on Patreon, and there is no replay. So head on over to our Patreon and follow us so you don't miss our next live watch party. I might even do a live watch party of some of these semi-final soccer games. So, or just our random lives. We also do some free lives as well. So go try it out. There's free trials as well. So, all right. And there's a link pinned in the YouTube live chat live chat. Okay, we have quite a few super chats. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, things like that. Roboso Adventure. Thank you so much for the $20. Thank you for the $20 super chat. They say if K Michelle had an issue with Shamea, she should have taken it to Shamea, not Pinky. That would have bothered me about K Michelle too. Shamea is not innocent, but I do feel bad the way that they are treating her. Well, remember, they did have a conversation, and maybe that's why. And remember, Pinky's also one doing the digging. So now she feels like she can talk about it. But originally, unless that's what you're referring to, when this first started, she went to Pinky instead of going to Shamea. But they talked about that already in Scotland during the last episode. So they should be fine now. Jacob, thank you so much for the super chat. Jacob says Shamea crying at the end was so fake. She was crying because she knew there and then that she won't return to the show next season. I think she was crying because she probably felt like the group was against her. And the only person, look, K Michelle, I have to agree with Shamea here when she said that the only person that she has in this group is Kelly. You saw Kelly was the only one that ran after her. And part of me, and I'm not saying that she had to, but if you really was friends with Shamea, I'm surprised you didn't go out there, and I'm not saying you had to leave with her. I'm surprised you didn't go out there and check on her. You know what I mean? But that's me. Tish, thank you so much for another. I got a shimmy for Tish because Tish already sent the dollars. Thank you, Tish, for the super chat. Tish says, this is the one of the times when I do not fit the Capricorn stereotype because I'm a Capricorn that spends. I'm quite bougie and I'm far from cheap. Well, Tish, what's your moon sign and your rising? This is why it's important to know someone's complete, not even just that, other elements of your birth chart, because that would be very interesting to know what your other parts of your birth chart are. Shadrika, thank you for another super chat. Shadrika says, this combo got on my nerves. Drew just be saying ish. Ooh, look, ooh. Rose Black, thank you so much for the super chat. Rose Black says, yes, it's true. They put a finger inside to feel the tightness, weakness of your muscles, and to help with the exercise. It's not fingering. But they put a finger inside of you? I need to do some research. Let me go stop at the nearest spear. Do you guys... Dina, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Dina says, I've been through PFT for too tight muscles. They use their finger and it's not fun. Oh, so this is true, Dina. Oh my God. Okay. Not Drew's been vindicated yet again. Okay. Not look, I don't know anything about this. I don't have a vajayjay. Okay. Omar, thank you for another super chat. Omar says, Baskin Lather, I'm gonna have to get my mama some for her. Not for her mustache and beard. I'll get her some for her B-Day. Omar, your mother should whoop your tail for that super chat. You had the nerve. You excuse me? Okay. Really? I can't. Okay, Risa says, it's pelvic floor therapy, Kempire. Oh, pelvic floor therapy. Okay. Don't get me Googling. Look, it's like a Tasty Black. Don't get me Googling. All right. Damn, now you're dragging his mother. That's terrible. You could have said that in the chat. You have to put. You wanted to make sure that I said this on live in front of 3,000 people about your mama, Omar. That is a shame. That is a shame. But who knows? His mom could be like Precious's mom. You know what I mean? Jacob, thank you so much for another super chat. Jacob says, I think Kelly is on Shamea's payroll. Just look at the post she's done before the episode aired trying to cover for Shamea, and she's in her house. Well, I don't know if she's still in her house, but you might be right. GC says, Omar, beat a Harpo. OMG. Okay. Tanya says, my therapy doesn't include this. Well, you might want to ask if they do provide it. All right. Right? Exactly. Reese says that he dragged his mama with a color on it. Damn. All right. If you are a senior royal, I already dropped the call link for you guys. Royal Court members, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys as well. Team KEMPIRE members, I'll drop the call link for you guys in a moment. I'm not done yet. I still have a lot more to say because we got to get to the dinner. But if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You can also hear our recaps and special episodes on the KEMPIRE podcast. So subscribe today. And if you haven't, be sure to subscribe and be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Okay. All right. They go tartan and kilt shopping. Okay. So when I go to Scotland, I am so getting a kilt. Anyone else? I have never been to Scotland, but I want to go to Scotland. I'm going to go get me a kilt. I always do the thing. So this is, the tourists, I got to have my full experience. I'm going to get me a kilt made. All right. And a sash. And I'm going to wear it on live. Okay. Or I'm going to wear it the next live show. Let me get to Scotland. All right. So the women learn about kilt making and tartan and what that means. Okay. So then we get this confessional look from Pinky where it looks like she was attacked by a peacock. What in the hell was that confessional look? Look, her and Kelly are fighting for the most tackiest confessional looks of the season. I don't even have a picture to show you guys because I like you guys more. Okay. All right. But damn, that was pretty damn bad. First of all, I'm okay with a feather moment. If anything, it looked like she went into Candace's closet. Remember from Candace's last reunion? It looked like you went into Candace's closet, tore off her dress, and threw it on. You just wrapped it around you. I'm like, what is going on? All right. So Porsha and Phaedra are going to pay for the ladies to get a proper sash. Only reason why I'm even talking about this moment was because of what happened at the end of the moment. Because I had to rewind it a couple of times. I'm like, wait, what is Shamea saying to Kelly? So Kelly's like, oh, Porsha, is there a budget? And Portia's like, yeah, there is a budget in regards to, you can't get a bunch of other things. So Shamea's just like, oh, Porsha, we can put it on your card and you can cash at me. And then she says to Kelly, she's like, that's how she do me. Did anyone pay attention to that part? And I'm wondering, are you insinuating that maybe Porsha never cashed apped you? I don't know. I don't understand why she said it like that, but it stood out to me. It stood out to me that Shamea was sort of like, yeah, that's how she do me. I was like, wait, what does she mean by that? Is she saying that Porsha doesn't pay her back, or this is how they used to do? Like they would go out and she would put it on her credit card and Porsha would cash app her later. But my thing is like, that's not a big deal, especially if you got your money. But the fact that you're saying it says to me like, did Porsha not pay you back? Miss Parker says, I totally missed that part. I had to rewind the tape. Last night when we watched it on Patreon, I didn't pay attention to that part. But rewatching it, I was like, wait a minute. Melly says, how did I miss that part? Go back. Because I thought that was funny. I was like, wait, what is she insinuating that Porsha maybe didn't pay her back? Or that's just how Porsha used to do? I don't know what she was trying to say in that moment. But it stood out to me. Miss Melly Mad said that Shamea was mad. Miss Neen says, I was confused too. I'm not sure which, again, I'm saying this, I don't want us to jump to conclusions, but it stood out to me that Shamea was like, that's how she do me. That's how she used to do me. In regards to, I'm guessing, based off the situation, oh, put it on my credit card and I'll cash app you later. It could just basically mean that. Not saying that Porsha didn't pay her back. But for you to point it out, I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. But all right, let's get to this dinner. So they end up going to dinner. Kelly asks Porsha if she's looking for another girlfriend because they're saying like, oh, Porsha will pay for the drinks and things like that. She's like, are you looking for another girlfriend? Oh, now all of a sudden you're interested in Porsha. You were denying allegations about looking at her snatch a couple of episodes ago. Okay. All right. So Kelly says that Portia's nicer when she's messing with girls. Okay. Drew says that she has a new song coming out with Ray J. Drew, I know Ray J is a name, but he isn't the name when it comes to music. Okay? So the fact that you have a song with Ray J, to me, is not something to brag about. Anyone else, I'm like, especially not in 2026, you got a song with Ray J. But okay. So Drew says she has a song with Ray J. Did that ever come out? All right. K. Michelle's asked about it during her confessional, and she said the song might be good. Because she said, delusion on delusion makes hits. And I said to myself, you would know. Right? She's definitely delusional. So she's trying to be she's trying to be nice. Pinky's like, you want me to be on your new song? To Drew. She says it's to Drew. And then that's when we have that moment when she starts singing, you must be delusional. Okay. Oh, like, you must be delusional. Honestly, first of all, the melody was off. That's one of my favorite Drew songs from her project. That's one of my favorite songs. So when Pinky sings it, I'm like, ooh, that melody is not the same melody, but I was here for it. To me, it was funny. It was very funny to watch you sing that song. And it says to me that you guys have been listening to the music. Okay. All right. So Drew brings up a conversation. She was having a personal conversation with Dennis, and they end up talking about Porsha. Here's where I feel like Drew was helping Porsha in her storyline. And this is where I feel like they're working together. It felt a little too orchestrated. Anyone else? Because, Drew and Porsha are in a better place. And I felt like they were pre-producing here. So Drew says that she was having this conversation with Dennis and talking about Dennis and Porsha possibly getting back together. And Dennis says that she doesn't want him. So Porsha then opens up about Dennis and Dennis acting different when she was dating Mike, and now she's dating this woman, so he's been acting a little differently towards that. And she just says, they're better as co-parents than they are in any relationship. And she also says, I don't know what he's doing over there. I don't know who he's dating. And the last time I checked, she mentioned this season, he actually had a woman. So I don't understand. It's very clear that Dennis would love to have Porsha back. But I think this whole Dennis conversation and this Dennis storyline is just a storyline. And I think Dennis is willing to play along, very much like how he wants Porsha to be able to keep this big check. He's willing to play along in order to, so she's not dependent on him. So I think Dennis is playing along. Do I think Dennis would get back with Porsha? Yes. But I also think he's playing along for his baby's mother. I think there is a loyalty to Porsha because she is the mother of his child. His only child, right? He doesn't have any other children. So they end up talking. I really didn't even care about that part. I'm just telling you to give you a full scope of how we lead into this next part. So Shamea, because I was wondering, how in the hell did we even end up here during the Scotland trip of them fighting? And I thought maybe it was the other women instigating something. And look, they have been instigating a little bit over this season. I'm not going to say that the women haven't been trying to bring up the elephant that's in the room, but they should. That's part of their job. But it was Shamea that brings up the fact that Porsha told Dennis that she's not comfortable with Pilar, her daughter, going over Shamea's house. Shamea says that she's hurt by that because, like, you should know that I would never do anything to your child. I don't think it has anything to do with you doing anything. I know that you wouldn't do anything to Pilar. I think we all know that, right? But at the same time, I also understand why Porsha would not want her child over your home. Anyone else? Like, I could completely understand why Porsha's is like, well, yeah, we're not friends anymore. We're no longer best friends, but we're not even friends. I'm not gonna have my child go over your house. I understand it. Okay? So Shamea brings up that fact, and she says that it was hurtful and disappointing because Porsha knows that she would never do anything to hurt her child. Yeah, that's fine. I know that you wouldn't. I mean, if you were in the same room, somewhere, but I'm not allowing my child to go stay over your house or hang out at your house if we're no longer friends. And I don't know how close Gerald and Dennis are. I know that they're friendly, but I don't know how close they actually are. And my thing is, Porsha didn't say that she was against them hanging out. She said she was against them going over Shamea's house. So they could probably have play dates elsewhere, but I'm not comfortable with my daughter going over your house. Okay? So Shamea says that it was hurtful and disappointing to her. Porsha says that she isn't going to have her daughter over her house of someone that doesn't like her. Okay? Porsha says that the only time that she would allow something like that, if she had like a falling out with someone, it would have to be her sister. So Shamea says, well, you told these women last year that I was like a sister. Well, not last year. They literally show from the dinner at the top of the season that, oh, it's different between me and Shamea because she's like a sister. But this is the moment where those like a sister moments or like a brother moments where you realize, like, yeah, you're like a sister, but you're really not my sister. Look, being like a sister versus being a blood sister, even though in my book, it don't matter. Blood or not blood. There are levels of portrayal, even if you are blood. But there are tiers to the situation, too. You're like a sister, and then there's my actual sister, Lauren. And she's like, if I had a falling out with Lauren, that's one thing. But I'm not going to keep my child, who's cousins, I'm not going to keep the cousins apart. Your daughter is not an actual cousin. I understand the difference, and I understand Porsha's perspective in regards to not allowing your child over her house, okay? Especially after this episode, when you see what these two grandmothers are accusing each other of, okay? Joy says, blood is thicker than water. Miss Melon Magic says, there is a difference. Okay, Miss Melon Magic says, Dennis the Menace always stirring the pot. Always, right? Miss Bell says, Porsha still considered her like a sister until she found out more information. But there is a difference. Miss Esquire, hey, Miss Esquire, where you been? Miss Esquire, I just feel like no was a complete answer. I don't have to explain why I don't want my child anywhere. Exactly. And when people do not respect your no, they're trying to control you. Just saying. I learned that a long time ago. If people do not respect your first no, they're trying to control you. All right? But anyway, so Shamea tries to defend it like, well, you said we were like sisters. You said we were like sisters. Porsha says that she looked at Shamea differently after last year. And Shamea says that Porsha told a lot of lies last year. She said Porsha told a lot of lies last year. And they're flashing back. They're flashing back to the reunion. They're flashing back to the sit down that Porsha and Shamea had. Okay? Porsha claims that Shamea claims that Porsha said that Shamea has all of these things. Like, you have the hawks, you have the singing, the acting, you have all of these things. And she says that that's part of the reason why she's she didn't want her to become a full-time housewife. The timeline is important here because I believe what Shamea is saying is that this was a conversation that they had years ago when Shamea first came on as a friend of the show. Because she's saying that Porsha, in this conversation that they had, Porsha denies it. Porsha says that this is a lie. I believe Shamea. That's where I'm going to be twerking on the fence. I believe Shamea and I believe Porsha on different things. I believe Porsha did at one particular point, the very beginning. I believe this was years ago. I don't know why we're talking about it now, though, Shamea. I'll say that. I do believe that Porsha said to Shamea, this is my thing. You have everything. You have the acting. You have the singing. You're working at the Hawks. Now you have the husband. I believe Shamea that Porsha said this to her and that Housewives was her thing. Because remember, after her first season, they weren't going to bring Porsha back. So I do believe that Porsha said to her, this is my thing. This is my thing. You have everything, but I'll bring you on. I'll bring you on as a friend. I do believe that. But I also believe too, Shamea, that at what particular point when Porsha was no longer on the show, why weren't they calling for you then? When Porsha wasn't on those couple of seasons, why wasn't production calling for you then to be on the show? And Kandi was there, and Kandi suggested you to production and the network. Production doesn't do the hiring, though. Okay? Hold on. Wait a second. CC says, KEMPIRE, did you see the RHOA video clip from 2025 showing Shamea's mom calling Porsha's mom a dear friend? Would you be friendly with someone who tried to sleep with your husband? Well, I don't recall that particular clip, but if that is true, maybe she was just being, church nice. Like you'll say one thing, but because you hope that these things don't come up later. I don't know. Again, I feel like people are picking sides on this situation, meaning like the fans are picking sides, and we have no idea the levels of how much information is probably distorted or left out. And context is so important here. I'm not picking a side on either side of this situation because I feel like there's so much more to this story that we have no idea about. Okay? I have no idea about. Okay. So back to this. Guys, you're just joining us. Okay, we're almost at 1,000 likes, but we have how many people in the building? We have almost 3,000 people in the building. And we're not even at 1,000 likes. I will drop the call link for the general audience, but members, I am dropping the call link for all of y'all. Backstage, you're only getting 30 seconds because I know a lot of y'all have opinions. Strong opinions. Team KEMPIRE, I'm dropping the call link for you guys as well. I haven't looked to see if people are backstage. Yeah, okay. Oh, Miss Esquire, you're going to be first. Don't drop out. You're going to be first, okay? All right. Look. So Shamea, let me go back to my notes. Shamea. So Shamea says that Porsha says that this was her thing. I believe that. I do believe Porsha said this to her, but I believe this was said years ago when Porsha first came on the show. All right. And they probably were considering, they were probably considering Shamea because she's a woman about Atlanta. She's from Atlanta. Okay. And she's friends with Porsha. I could see them wanting her to be there. Tiara says church nice translates to phony fraud. Just saying. Look. Just thinking. Look. Just keep that in mind. All right. So Porsha denies that. Porsha says that's a lie. Porsha, I think you're lying there. Porsha denies that she ever said anything like that. Porsha, I think you're lying. Anyone else? What do you guys think? So Shamea says that Porsha said her bringing her on the show would ruin their friendship if she came on the show as a full-time housewife. So that's why she came on as a friend of. So this is going all the way back, y'all. Shamea says that in Savannah, Porsha said that she doesn't want their mom's friendship to affect their friendship and points out that Porsha posting about her mom on social media. Do y'all remember when Porsha posted that? Wasn't that during last season that Porsha went on social media slamming Shamea? I just want to confirm because I couldn't remember the timeline of that. But Shamea says that you brought our moms into the situation by going on social media and saying that my mom did something egregious to your mom. And bringing up the whole conversation about Shamea's mom buying Miss Diane's daycare. Porsha says, everybody already knew that. No, we didn't, Porsha. Everybody did not know that. That was just a rumor that was on the streets. You guys confirmed it. So I have to disagree with Porsha that no, everyone did not know about the whole daycare situation. That was like a rumor, and then you guys confirmed that this was a rumor. So Shamea says that you going on social media bringing up the moms after saying that we're not going to allow our mom's relationship to affect our relationship. You decided to go on social media and say your mom did something egregious to my mom. And she says, which is interesting because your mom did something egregious to my mom years before the daycare. Oh, so when the daycare situation happened, they weren't friends anymore. I'm piecing together what they're giving us, guys. I'm piecing together. So their moms weren't friends when that happened. So does that change your opinion on Shamea's mom buying the daycare? If you had a difference of opinion, does it change your mind knowing that this happened years after their friendship was already over? Well, Shamea drops a bomb during this back and forth and says, your mom tried to sleep with my dad. Your mom tried to sleep, meaning Miss Diane tried to sleep with Mama Morton's husband of 50 years. That's what she said. I was like, for those that were on Patreon last night with us, I was like, what? What is going on? What? Who? What? Where? And I didn't know that it was going to even go here. I assumed whatever falling out that they had was about their mothers, but I didn't realize it was going to go there. So Shamea drops that bomb. K. Michelle's face is like, no. Everyone's like, OMG. Way of Keith says like mother like daughter. Well, Atalia says Pizza Fingers tried to sleep with. That's what Shamea is accusing Porsha. Here's the thing, though. I believe them both. Porsha then replies and says this. Porsha says, "I knew you were going to say this. I've been holding back on this. So I went to my mom." I don't know if I believe this because, first of all, the streets weren't talking about this. I don't know if Shamea mentioned this to other friends and it came back to Porsha. Do you guys believe that Porsha actually knew that Shamea was going to say this and that was holding on to this? And maybe it was in another fight years ago and it came up. I don't know. But I don't believe Portia's like, I've been waiting for you to say this. So I made sure I went and I asked my mom about it. And what did your mama say? Shamea says, she said, my mother was flabbergasted. My mother was flabbergasted. She says that it was your mama that tried to sleep with your uncle, one of her husband's brothers. So Shamea is like, you're what? What are you talking about? She's like, which uncle? Wait, hold on. Wait, Shamea, wait, which uncle? Wait, which uncle? She's like, name him. Which uncle? Shamea says, which uncle? Phaedra in her confession, she's like, I think I probably would say that didn't happen. You're lying. Not which one. Not which one. I believe both. I believe Shamea, I believe Shamea when she says that Miss Diane tried to sleep with her dad. And I believe Miss Diane, damn, these mamas were messy. They were Rolling Stones. And I believe Miss Diane, when she says that Pastor Mama Morton slept with one of the brothers. I don't know which one. Look, name the unk, Allie says. Name the unk. I believe both of them. And now these women are fighting about this in... Miss B says, I thought name them immediately. Danielle says, I believe both of them. I do too. I do too. But now these daughters have taken this on a platform where millions of people now know their dirt. Now 3,000 of y'all know this for those that didn't watch the episode. Aurora says they were messy if it was true. Y'all know people very much like Mama Morton and Miss Diane. Okay? But we just don't know about the stories. Exactly. Superstar 7 says, I believe Miss Diane and Mama Thornton were just as scandalous as both of their daughters. And that's why they were best of friends. That's why you can't be friends with people that do stuff like this. This is why I would never be friends with Porsha. Because I feel like you would do that to me. In regards to like how you conduct yourself when it comes to relationships and things like that, and respecting marriages and whatnot. Okay, that's a whole other conversation. But you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to be friends with someone like that. But all right. Okay. So I believe both of them, but it goes to a whole other level. Shamea is flipping out. She's just like which one? Not which one. Look, which one? So they're going back and forth. Porsha says that Shamea and her mother are low down dirty snakes. Oh my gosh. Porsha says that she knew about this and that she asked her mom. Her mother was flabbergasted. Okay. Porsha claims that Shamea's mom tried to sleep with her dad's brother. Shamea responds, which one? Paige is like, what? Shamea brings up Porsha's glam, saying to her, what glam? Paris, because you know Paris is messy. The stylist is messy. So I wouldn't be surprised if Paris is the one stirring the pot behind the scenes. Kayla says, call him right now. Not call him right now. She said, call him right now. Call Uncle right now. So Porsha, Shamea says that Porsha's glam told her that, now that Shamea's on the show, everything's on the table. We're co-workers now. Porsha says that this was a premeditated attack. This was a premeditated attack from Shamea to trigger her by bringing up her daughter. Shamea ends up getting up from the table. This is where I believe production was probably telling her to get up from the table. But she ends up getting up from the table and exiting. And then she gets into the hallway and she's now emotional. Kelly follows her and she's going off. She said that she's been keeping that in to protect Porsha, but Portia's not protecting her. So she's like, nothing's off limits anymore. This is why I said last night on X, I feel like Shamea was crashing out. Because first of all, you're the one who brought this up. Like you started this conversation. I feel like she was crashing out. This is what looks like a crash out. Okay? And I'm not saying that she's not justified, but she's crashing out and she's just saying everything. You know how we talk about kids are off limits? We don't talk enough about mamas being off limits on this show because I feel like I now understand why they didn't go to the mamas of it all. And I know Phaedra said that she kind of knew some of this on Watch What Happens Live last night. But Tears of Joy said she definitely crashed the F out. She crashed out. She saw red. Okay? She saw red in regards to this. So Shamea says that Porsha doesn't want her there, and that that she would love for it to be reciprocated. And she says that the love would only be reciprocated as a friend of. So she really believes that Porsha doesn't want her there, despite Porsha saying to Andy, but Andy confirmed it on the last reunion. He says that he confirmed what Porsha said. Like, I've asked for Shamea to be on the show. Okay. And Andy said, yeah, you did advocate for Shamea to be on the show. Okay. So she says that the love between her and Porsha will only be reciprocated if she was a friend of. Shamea says that Porsha does these things. She's in the car now. She's in the Sprinter and she's upset. She's going in a different Sprinter than the rest of the group. She's like, Porsha does these things because she wants to be liked, because her life is so messed up. Well, Porsha's life is messed up in a lot of ways, but I don't think Porsha has a problem being liked. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Porsha doesn't do things to be liked, but Porsha doesn't have a problem being liked. You do. And I do feel like this is projection. She's the only person, and when I say being liked by the fans, you have a problem and you want the fans to like you, and they're not liking you. So you are the one that seems to have the problem with that. So she says that Porsha is the one that has a problem with not being liked. Okay? Porsha says that Shamea tried to trigger her by bringing up her daughter Pilar. She says that she saw the same devilish eyes in Shamea that she saw in Simon, her ex-husband. Honestly, this would have been a perfect opportunity to bring a ghost of Simon through the table. I would have laughed my A off, but anyway, that's just me. Anyone else would have wanted to see the ghost of Simon? Jump scare, okay? Joy says that was projection 101. All right. Bossy says, how is Porsha's life messed up? I mean, in a way, Porsha probably would agree. In some ways, her life is messed up when it comes to what she's been going through. You have to keep in mind, at this particular point, she was going through the divorce with Simon. He was trying to kick her out the house and things like that. So I could see that. All right. So K. Michelle decides to chime in. And K. Michelle, this is where I thought that maybe you would have gotten up to go check on Shamea. And now I understand why Shamea feels like you don't have her back, because you could have went to check on her and then came back. You know what I mean? But she does have her back at the table. K. Michelle says that she doesn't want anyone in the group to feel like everyone is on them. Cynthia chimes in. Cynthia, they're going to get you for this one, but I get where Cynthia's coming from. Cynthia says, she asks K. Michelle, do you think, though, that Shamea may have done it to herself? Do you really believe that everyone is picking on Shamea? What do you guys think? Do you think everyone is picking on Shamea, or did she do this to herself? Honestly, this fight, I think Shamea did it to herself, because you didn't have to bring up Pilar. You didn't have to bring up any of this conversation. Like, it didn't need to be something between you and Porsha. You could have kept the same energy, unless there's an element that we're missing that was not included. Okay? Toya says that Cynthia is so biased. Okay? Too Foxy, aka Cynthia, says Cynthia lost me. Okay? And this Esquire says K. Michelle didn't like the way that Shamea worked her set. GC says no one could make me flip on my standards. The J Kofi says, yes, Shamea is being bullied. This fight was from her holding in her emotions. Woof. Oh, Lord. All right. Okay, we have quite a few super chats that I need to get to as well. Guys, you're just joining us. We're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But before we get to the super chats, I want to say thank you to our friends over at, Bowl and Branch. There we go. Have you noticed that your sheets are slipping off the corners lately? Or maybe your pillows don't feel as supportive? So many people think it's their mattress, or they think it's their pillows, when it actually has more to do with your sheets. I'm so excited about our friends Bowl and Branch being here on the channel again, because I've been able to experience their sheets personally over the last several weeks. And I took advantage of their Memorial Day sale. More on that later. But I'm excited for them to be back here on the channel, because so many people complain about their sleep patterns and how their sleep is being affected, and they don't realize it probably isn't your mattress. It probably isn't your pillows. It's probably what you're putting on your mattress and your pillows. So that's why I upgraded to our friends over at Bowl and Branch. They make everything your bed needs. Their signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft, and get better over time. More importantly, how do your sheets feel after you wash them several times? So most people start with their signature sheets, and a lot of customers buy 2 sets so that they can rotate them. I know that's what I did recently. I've also added their waffle sheet, which I've already washed twice, and still it remains super, super soft and luxurious. So as I mentioned before, I took advantage of their Memorial Day sale. Thank you to all of you that reminded me to make that order that day. Literally got it, not the following day. I ordered it on that Memorial Day. I got it that Wednesday. Can you imagine? What I also loved with their customer service, their local Bowl and Branch store reached out to me to help if I wanted to upgrade my bedroom. So the customer service already was top tier. But more importantly, what I also love is that after I washed it several times, it still remains super soft, still super quality. But of course, I don't bring anyone here where I can't get you some sort of discount. Sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bollandbranch.com/Kempire with code KEMPIRE. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/Kempire. Code KEMPIRE to take 20% off. bollandbranch.com/Kempire. Exclusions apply. More information on Boll and Branch will be available in the description. Thanks, Boll and Branch. And we're back. Thank you guys so much for patronizing all of our sponsors. We appreciate our sponsors, and we appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out to those of you that have joined our Patreon. Shout out to those of you that have joined our mailing list. Maz, can we post the mailing list in there? Because you guys are missing out on the mailing list as well. If you want alerts, updates, discounts, or those types of things, join the mailing list. Head on over to thekempire.com/join. Also, there's a lot of new things available at thekempire.com. So be sure to check that out. We got our blog there. You can also watch us live there. You can check out some of the things that you may have missed from this past week. Go check it out, all right, if you haven't already. And shout out to our King's Guards for holding us down. And thank you to everyone that sent in Super Chats. We appreciate that as well for supporting the channel. Those of you that sent in Cash Apps, Venmos, PayPals, things like that, I appreciate it. You look, I'm an entrepreneur. I got to hustle in every way that we can here on, between YouTube and TikTok and all the places. All right. Tish, thank you so much for another super chat. Tish says Capricorn Sun, Virgo Moon, Pisces right. That's a very interesting chart. I'm actually surprised that you like to spend the coins, but that must be the Virgo Moon in you or the Pisces. It's probably the Pisces. It's probably more so the Pisces. She's like, I don't know what all of that means though. You did get a birth chart reading, Tish. Okay, Tish. Now we know more about you. Sailor Moon. We got a lot of Virgos that follow. And even Virgo energy that follows us. Sailor Moon, Moonlight, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Sailor says that I think K. Michelle didn't run after Shamea because she knows Shamea was wrong. Shamea lit a fire and then wants to cry because she got burnt. She did say you can't talk about Porsha's mama like that. She did say that in her confession. She's like, you know how she feels about her mama. But you would think that she would still go check on her. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that she had to leave the actual restaurant and go with her, but check on her. Tiara, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Tiara says, hey, Cam, I'm a massage therapist and pelvic floor therapy is provided needed for some people who have had pelvic cancers, i.e. prostate. Oh. See, this is what I love, though. We end up learning stuff. Oh, so that's what Drew was talking about. Not Drew vindicated once again. Okay. But what does that entail? Like, look. All right. Okay. September 25th, we're going to do a demonstration on stage. It's not that type of show. Stop. All right. Very Fiery, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Very Fiery says the dinner was a giant fish bait bucket in a pond. Okay. All for Beauty, thank you so much for the super chat. All for Beauty says last year on Shamea's channel, her mom said Diane is her friend and a sweetheart. So you tell me a woman it was on her channel. Oh, during that video, that apology video, or was it something else? But thank you, All for Beauty says last year on Shamea's YouTube channel, her mom said Diane is her friend and a sweetheart. So you tell me a woman tried to sleep with my husband and I call her a sweetheart. Sympathy is lying. Oh, or is her mama lying? We don't know. Wow. Or I think she might have been just doing the church, she's a sweetheart. You know those churchy people. Johnny, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Johnny says, I would not want my best friend with years of history coming onto a platform where production is going to open old wounds from years ago. And now we see it playing out. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, I believe a lot of what Shamea is saying, but saying facts is not the same as speaking truth. Ooh. Neither side of this street is clean, so I'm not picking sides. Me either. All right. I'm blocked by one, though. So that's important to note. Okay. Writer person, thank you so much for the super chat, says, do you think Shamea brought it up because she was trying to say we aren't friends anymore because of our moms and now our daughters won't be friends because of us? Oh. But at the same time, do we want to be friends with this family anymore? The toxicity went from grandmas to now us. Do we want to continue the toxicity with the daughters? No. My daughter will be fine without being friends with Pilar. Okay, or vice versa. Noda Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Noda Queen says, and Porsha was right. Shamea getting a peach ruined their friendship immediately. I mean, you're right. It's B703. Thank you for the super chat, Gary. I believe every word Shamea said in this argument. I believe everything she said too. I believe both of them though. Okay? I don't believe Porsha didn't know about this. Based on what she said. Survive to Thrive. Thank you for the super chat. Says no. No to what? Look, no to what? Low Key Vibes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Low Key Vibes says Porsha and Shamea's mama were literally in a pic with them a few years back. Shamea's mom said last year that Diane will always be her friend. So which is it? Well, that's true. I don't know. Y'all asking me to provide y'all with answers that I can't provide. Omar says Mama D was the pimp of Mama Diane. And now you just saying anything, Omar. Okay. Always Priceless. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I'm not going to lie. I was shocked by how calm Porsha was. Eerily calm. Well, you have to keep in mind and remember that Porsha is a veteran. She's been doing reality television for years. She knows how to react in these moments. She's also a Cancer. Just saying, like she's able to, I need to know what Shamea's other signs are, her top 3. Because it's definitely not giving Taurus. Okay? It's definitely not giving Taurus. Damn, Shamea, you really crashed out. FK Figs, let me shimmy for the $20. Thank you. Says Shamea came itching for a fight with P because she was upset about her making up with Kelly. Using PJ to light that fire is sick and low, but shows how thirsty and jaded Shamesi is. Ooh. And we don't care about Gerald's 64-year-old redacted. Oh my God. Damn, FK Figs. Wow. Let me clutch my imaginary pearls. Toya, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Toya says, Porsha turning that table into a whole altar to preach a scandalous little word was downright diabolical. She did. Toya is talking about when Shamea got up and left and talked about seeing the devil in Shamea's eyes. She's like, I can't be friends with a person with that devilish look in their eyes. She had that whole little ministry in that moment. I'm just thinking to myself, here go Porsha. All I'm reminded of Porsha is when you were ministering against homosexuality. Now here you a whole lesbian, gay. Just saying. Y'all remember that video. Thank you, Toya. Y'all remember the video. Paint These Wings. Thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Porsha is better than me. If someone talked about my mom like that, dishes would have been flying. Why did Shamea have to take it there? Leave the mamas out of it. Well, according to Shamea, Porsha started it by saying it on social media, your mama did something very egregious to my mom. I'm just being fair. All right. Mr. Melon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat for being a member. Says, Shamea did all of this to herself by inserting herself into Cousin Faye's beefs last year. Now, Porsha is cool with them, and all Shamea has is the squad. OMG. Writer person, thank you so much for the super chat. Writer person says, can we all say that Porsha did bring up the moms first by that post? See, this is what I'm saying. I would have come into the season like, okay, I already know it's on because we agreed that this was supposed to be off. I just don't know why, though, during the Scotland trip at this table, it came up. Was she triggered because now Kelly's friendly with Porsha and there's no beef? I just don't know where that came from unless there's a part that's edited out. I don't understand why all of a sudden at this dinner, you brought that up. You brought up the Pilar stuff. Like I would understand. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna even bring that up because clearly you don't want, you don't want our children to be friends anymore either, which I find to be understandable. Satra, thank you so much for the super chat. Satra says, I think the monsters, I think the mothers were double dating and not married. Shamea brought up the mothers to 50 Cent on the show before. Porsha IG Wrong Road post. Okay. Paint These Wings, thank you for another super chat. Says, also KEMPIRE, I'm an Aquarius sun, Gemini moon, and Capricorn rising. Thank God for that Capricorn because all that air all over the place. All over the place. You needed that Capricorn to ground you. Okay. All right. Rodney says that Shamea has mastered the woe is me / victim behavior and everyone's falling for it. She's very sneaky, high schoolish, and cunning. Just too rich to behave that way. She does the way she does. And it's sad to watch. I mean, Rodney, I'm not going to say that you're lying because I could see that. I could see how she makes herself the victim. This is going to be a bad reunion for Shamea. But here's what I got to say before we get to the callers. I said last season that Shamea should not come back because I didn't feel like this was going to get any better for Shamea. I don't think Shamea should come back in a third season. I feel like it's going to get even worse. I really do. Because I know some of you's like, well, Shamea is that girl. She lives that life, blah, 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 blah. Shamea is not that funny. She's not that interesting. I'm sorry. I got to be honest. Based on how I feel about Shamea and what I've seen of Shamea. And I don't think you're going to shine on this show with Porsha. I think it's just going to get even uglier and nastier. And no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. And it got really ugly and nasty last night. And I think it's just going to get worse. And based on what we heard that went down in Scotland, it almost got physical. I don't see this ending well for you. So they end up going to the club in next week's episode, and Shamea shows up, and Porsha ends up walking out. I don't know why. I'm thinking this is when they get physical. I'm not sure if they're going to show them getting physical, but that was the word on the street. Okay? And Drew had to break it up. That's what they said. That's what they said. Tish, thank you so much. Tish, you wanted a shimmy. You wanted another shimmy motorboat. Tish, motorboat. Tish. Tish, thank you for the super chat. Tish says, I'm so confused. Shamea spoke on Porsha's mom first on camera with Cynthia last season. Porsha literally refers it to her in the caption of the post everyone's speaking of. Oh yeah. She says Porsha posted after that episode aired. That's why Porsha mentioned it in there. And remember, we were all like, well, no, that's not right, Tish. Because I remember when Porsha posted that, and we were like, wait, does Shamea say something about the moms during the season? Because at that particular point, we were confused. Why is she talking about the moms? Because what I can't remember exactly what Porsha said. Not Porsha, what Shamea said about the moms, but she didn't go into the deep aspects of their relationships. You know what I mean? So I felt like Porsha's post was a bit of an overreaction at the time. But again, that happened last season. What's happening right now in Scotland? You know what I mean? What's happening right now in Scotland? Why are we here? I think Glam, Paris, I don't know this for a fact. I'm just assuming because Paris is messy. I'm assuming that Paris, one of the Glam, was in Shamea's ear when they were getting ready and things like that, and said, yeah, Porsha said, oh, all gloves are off, everything's on the table. I think Glam was being messy behind the scenes, and that's why we got what we got. Anyone else? I think that's why we got what we got. Was because someone was being messy behind the scenes. Everyone's going to blame production, but I'm going to blame Glam. Paris. I'm kidding, Paris. I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying, I feel like someone in Glam was being messy in Shamea's ear. Shamea fell for it, and she decided before she got, she decided to bring it up at the table. And maybe Glam is the one who told Porsha about what Shamea had on the mamas. I don't know if I believe any of that, but I don't know. Okay. All right. All right. Look, can we get to the call list now? We've been talking for over 2 hours, 2 hours and 9 minutes. Guys, you're just joining us. Don't forget to like the video. Once we have nearly 3,000 of you in here. Let's get to 1,400 likes. I mean, I should say let's get to 3,000 likes, but I'll just say let's get to 1,400 likes, and I'll drop the call-in link for the general audience. But if you're a member of the channel, I've already dropped the call-in link on the post tab here on YouTube, so you can gain access to our call-in link. All right. Aurora says Paris is a Capricorn too. Messy Capricorns. All right. Tanya says blame Paris. She said glam, so it could be anyone in glam. Okay. Glam usually gets the tea. But I believe Shamea, I believe parts of what Shamea is saying, and I believe parts of what Porsha is saying. But I also think that the audience gives Porsha way too much credit for being conniving. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get to our calls. Keep in mind, the opinions of the calls do not represent the opinions of myself, the KEMPIRE LLC, or our sponsors. Everything that they say is alleged and of their own opinion. They're calling it of their own free will. All right? All right. Let me bring up Miss Esquire because she's been waiting backstage so patiently. Miss Esquire,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm really good. I'm sorry I haven't been around, y'all. I'm working.
It's
I told you
okay.
I got a new job.
Oh, yeah. Congrats.
Um, Also, just so we're doing this, I'm a Virgo sun, a Sagittarius moon, and a Libra rising.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I look at you a little bit differently.
Yeah, and my Venus is Leo, so I need a lot of attention. But
Hmm.
okay, so here's the thing with Shamea. I want Shamea to take yes as an answer from the universe. The universe has delivered you a man who loves you, who is wealthy, children who love you, a beautiful home, all of this wealth and riches. Please take yes as an answer from the universe and stop asking it to give you the one thing that you are not well suited for, which is fame.
Hmm.
You're not well suited for fame because you know what you need to handle fame well? You need charm. And that is the difference between her and Portia. They're both liars. We both know it. They're both telling mistruths and not stating all of the facts. I believe both of them are right. But the difference between the two of them is that Portia is charming. Portia has endeared herself to an audience for over a decade.
Hmm.
We like Portia and her lies, okay? We let her some of her lies go because she makes us laugh and she's cute. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not fair. But also, fame is not a meritocracy. It's not meant to be. And I think Shamea's fraud is like, she does all of this stuff. Why does she get away with it? And I don't get away with it because you're not charming, Shamea.
Ooh.
And also, if friend is so bad, then why friend shaped? As the way my toddler would say. If Portia is such a bad friend, why are you her friend?
Hmm.
Because you need to stop telling us how bad of a friend Portia is and start explaining to us why you have been friends with such a bad person for so long. Because birds of a feather, baby, they flocks together. That's it. That's all.
Thanks, Miss
You look
Esquire.
gorgeous. Talk to you later.
You too. Wow. I will be putting the time limit on everyone else. Miss Esquire hasn't called in a while. All right. Toya's backstage. Toya, what did you think about this episode?
Hey, Campfire, how are you?
Oh, well. How you doing?
I'm good. Um, I think that we are watching Portia and the Housewives.
Hmm.
I think that Portia is very strange that just a few episodes ago we saw Kelly call Portia or say that Portia has slept with every Nigerian in Atlanta, and now they're friends, but we have never seen Portia sit down and have a conversation with the person she has known since they were like 17.
She did, though,
Why is
last season,
that?
remember?
No, this season, why
Oh.
hasn't she sat down to talk to Shamea? But she can be close and get over her stuff with Kelly so quickly.
Hmm.
It doesn't make sense. I think that she took away Kelly's with her befriending Kelly, now Shamea really has nobody. And I feel like that's why Shamea crashed out. I also believe Shamea. I think that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree with Miss Diane. I think that's the reason why Miss Diane had no problem and supported Porsha, talking about love wins, that foolishness with that lady's husband, and it didn't work out for her. I think the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Thank you, Kempire. Have a good one.
You too, Toya. Take care. Wow. I love when you guys call him because then you kind of make me go like, all right. All right. Melissa's backstage. Melissa, what did you want to share in regards to Real Housewives of Atlanta's latest episode?
Hey, KEMPIRE, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can. Beautiful. So I'm calling on behalf of all cancers right now. So I should get an extra 5 seconds. It is our season.
Okay. Go ahead.
But I understand Porsha. I really do, as a fellow cancer.
Okay.
And this whole issue with her and Shamea is really triggering me because it reminds me exactly of a friendship of over 30 years I ended. So I'm convinced Shamea must have some Leo in her chart somewhere. It's literally the same exact thing where Shamea had an issue with Porsha, but instead of going to Porsha, she runs him out to everyone else. And that is why I believe that Porsha knew about this issue with the mother already, because Shamea probably ran him out to everybody else in her friend circle, the Candies, the Rashidas, and it came back to Porsha. So she was ready for this. I truly believe. I also believe, because even Andy Cohen said, Porsha wanted you to be a housewife. She was advocating for you. I believe Shamea is turning it around now, because Porsha probably did come to her and was like, listen, you have the Hawks, you have this, you have that. Is this something you want? Because these women will tear you down. Are you sure this is what you want? And look what happened. Angela's bringing in the Hawks. You slept with every player, blah, blah, blah. And now look what happened. Exactly. But I think Shamea is turned it around and was like, oh, you said these things because you don't want me on your. I, in fact, believe, and trust me, I am no Porsha stan. Portia's hands are not clean. But I believe she's turning this around. I also think this whole thing with you're like a sister, please be aware, people. People say you're like a sister. Like a sister and a sister are two very different things. Me and my sister could fight, but I will never go for blood. Shamea went for blood when she bought up PJ. Then she bought the mama. She came to that table with an IV and a blood bag just for Porsha. And a real sister would never do that no matter what. And that's why I understand Porsha when they say she's manipulative, she's this, she that. We only turn like that when you destroy us. And you can only get that close to us when you become that close to us. That's the only people that can hurt you. And that's why she doesn't have a problem making up with Kelly, because Kelly was never that close to her. Porsha was like a sister, so there's no coming back for Porsha. But Kelly never really truly hurt her in the way Porsha did. And that's what I gotta say. And please go to the KEMPIRE After Live show if you're by yourself. Went there 2 times by myself. Loved it. Thank you. Bye.
Melissa, you coming to the next show?
Yes, I am. I'll see you there, boo-boo.
I'll
Love
see you. Bye, Melissa. See you. See you September 25th. And I'm glad she reminded y'all that. So don't be afraid to come on your own. You can hang out with Melissa and us, okay? I will have to disagree with Melissa though on the cancers, because I've been betrayed by a few cancers actually, to the point where I was like, I need to stop effing, and I'm a Cancer rising. I need to stop effing with cancers. Just saying. Okay. Noda Queen is backstage. I'm going to bring Noda Queen up next. Noda Queen, what's your sign? Noda Queen, I'm going to pull you down. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, Lord. Noda Queen, I think there's a delay. So you're going to eventually see us drop out and then call back in. I've been allergies, y'all. I made an appointment for my allergist. Lord have mercy. Okay, Aurora says, I'll come when KEMPIRE comes back to you. I would love to come back to the UK, Aurora. But y'all need to show up and show out. Okay. Lanisha says, Lanisha, right? Says, I'm coming virtually. Yes, don't forget, guys, there's a live stream ticket option as well for those that can't make it in person. All right. Not bless you. Bless you, handsome. Stop. Someone put Roger on time. I'm playing. All right. Let me bring up Noda Queen. Noda Queen, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Okay, so I can't hear you at all.
Go.
But what I will say is, the problem I have with this whole situation, I believe that Porsha isn't lying to an extent. I believe that Shamea isn't lying to an extent. The problem is they're recounting information from their mothers, who are both liars. So while I don't think they lying, I don't think they telling the truth either. And that's not their fault. And that's why Porsha is right for not having Pilar around Shamea, because it's just going to continue this cycle of this mom foolishness being in their relationship. And Pilar has access to other friends, just like Shamea's daughter does. They don't need to continue that. It's just unnecessary, especially after how Shamea did that with Angela's daughter. Like, it's not what she said. It's the fact that you got beef with my mother currently and you're saying something weird to me. That context adds to it. And I don't trust that Shamea wouldn't do that with Pilar either, even though I don't think she'll like actually hurt her. I think she might say some stuff that she don't have no business saying because Shamea is corny and messy and she can't help herself. So that's all she does. But and don't get me wrong, like Porsha needs her whackings too. But the problem is Shamea is not time enough for Porsha. Like Porsha clocked immediately that she was trying to trigger her by bringing up her daughter. And that, again, inappropriate, unnecessary, corny. And Porsha didn't give you what you wanted. Now you're running away crying from something you started. And that's why you got beef with everybody in this group, because you start stuff and they dance around you. And then now you're running off crying. So she just needs to go home. Just give it up. It's okay. You've been on here long enough. But that's all I got to say.
Thanks, Noda Queen. Wow. Look. All right. If you're a member of the channel, I dropped the calling link for you guys already on the post tab. Live chat, I'll drop the calling link for you guys once we get to 1,400 likes. There's already almost 3,000 of you watching, so I'm not dropping it until we get to that point. But if you are on Twitch, I will drop the calling link for you guys there. Let me drop it now. There we go. And there we go. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats as well. Kendra, thank you for the super chat. Kendra says, if this was Greece, they would have been thrown out the restaurant like they did the Salt Lake City ladies. Well, they threw them out the restaurant because the restaurant was closing, not because they were acting up. P Minx, thank you for the super chat. Let me shimmy for $20. Says Shamea needs emotional intelligence. Her feelings are valid, but there's a lot of projection there too. KEMPIRE, I defended and passed my dissertation. Thank you for the good energy from this community that kept me going. Congratulations. Oh, do we call you doctor now? Was this for your PhD? Either way, congratulations. I mean, Dr. Brian can't provide that information, so. Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. I know you're feeling good right now. Are you going to take a vacation? You should. Where are you going? Let us know in the chat. Satra, thank you for another super chat. Satra says, Shamea crying to her mom, Miss Morton pumped her up. Oh, from earlier in the day. You think that's what it was? Lord have mercy. Lord. Paola, thank you so much for the super chat. Paola says, not us Leos catching strays. I got a Leo moon. All of us catching strays right now. Hey, Ann. Ann, thank you for the super chat. Let me shimmy for the $20. Ann says, hiya, Kemp and chat. Just saying hello, watching from the bushes. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Oh, my allergies are kicking up. Lord have mercy. My nose is itching. I promise I don't have a problem. My allergies have been acting up these last couple of weeks. Oh, you're going to Mozambique to visit your mother. Have a good old time. That's a beautiful flag, Mozambique's flag. I don't think I've ever seen it before. That's beautiful. All right. Well, enjoy. Enjoy, and congratulations. Everyone's sending you love and congratulations in the chat. P. Minx, congratulations. Oh, my nose. Oh, Lord, sorry, y'all. All right, let me get to the rest of our calls. Then I got to get out of here because I need to go take a Flonase or something. All right, Born to Win is backstage. Born to Win, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta? Born to Win, you're muted. Born to Win. She probably can't hear me. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let me bring up Kathy next. Kathy, what did you want to share?
Nothing much. Hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to share. The only thing that stayed in my mind after the episode is why did they remain friends? I feel like probably Porsha did not want Shamea on the show because maybe there is some truth to this between their mothers, but it had nothing to do with them. And I just wonder why did they remain friends?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they didn't have a sit down because Porsha probably want to protect this information. I don't know. It was just kind of confusing. Why did they remain friends? And I will understand why Porsha wouldn't want her daughter to be friends with Shamea's daughter anymore because there's really no reason to continue the friendship. That's my opinion. Sometimes you got to let things go.
Yeah.
And I was confused by Kelly's outfit too. Like, I don't know what she was wearing. And I only wanted to call. I called because I wanted to tell you about a show, Shifters. Go and see it off Broadway, Cherry Hill. Shifters. Okay. I sent you a DM.
Okay. Shifters.
I thought about you, but it's going to be leaving soon. And it's a really good production.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathy. Take
You're
care.
welcome.
I love
Bye.
Broadway or off Broadway. I love plays. Thank you, Kathy. All right. Perfect timing, Kathy, too. Let me try Born to Win again. Born to Win, are you there? Born to Win. You're not winning now. Take you down. Angel's backstage. Angel, what do you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta? Uh-oh, there's a delay. Oh, there's things are going on. Angel, there's a delay, or maybe you stepped away. I'll come back to you. Oh, wait. Angel, are you there? I'll come back to you, Angel. All right. Kayla's backstage. We're going to bring Kayla up next. Kayla, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Afternoon, Kemp. Go
Hey.
next, even though I'm a Pistons fan, but I'm gonna give y'all props for right now. Hope you have a
Mm-hmm.
great week. I would say that don't be shady. Don't be shady. Oh, okay. All right. So no, I think this week was good. It brought the drama and everything, but I think the cringe cartel, that's what I've named Kelly and Shamea.
Oh.
Um I just like, I mean, I like that they support each other, but it gives very Kyle and Dorit-ish. Like, how do you have a best friend for 20 years and then you get a new best friend a year later on the show? And then when Bose came on, she was a leech to Bose, Dorit was. So that's what Kelly gives a poorer. I don't know who's poor, Dorit or Kelly. I don't know. But one of them is homeless and not toothless, and the other one is going through her foreclosure still. But my point is, they are just a match made in heaven for each other. But it's weird how you latch onto people as grown women in their 40s. Like, did nobody teach these people how to be okay being alone?
Mm-hmm.
And I love Porsha, even though she may have whorish ways, but it's okay because like she live a decent life, so I can't be mad at that. At least she learned from the last time.
Mm. Lord. Thanks, Kayla.
But she didn't get up and hit that girl. So I mean, hey,
She's
she
grown.
didn't get up and hit her. She grown. Do you, I mean, she could have dragged her across the table and Porsha is big.
You right.
So I'm just saying.
Thanks, Kayla. Bye.
Have a good day.
You too. Guys, again, once we get to 1,400 likes, we got over almost 3,000 of you here. Once we get to 1,400 likes, I'll drop the calling for the general audience, but we have our members backstage that are calling. Let me bring Born to Win. Born to Win, are you there? Born to Win. You just said in the private chat that you were backstage. Born to Win. I guess you can't hear me because we keep bringing you up and you keep hiding. All right, then bring up Angel.
Love you.
Angel, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, Kip. My boss had just called me.
How dare they?
Mondays. I know, right? So we all know Porsche is no mastermind, and we can all thank Ron Hutchins for that. Shout out to the traders. But I believe there's truth in what both of them said. However, I think they're wrong for bringing their mom's business to camera. We shouldn't know anything unless we're getting the full picture with the text messages and everything. But hose of a feather, dot dot dot. And I understand where Portia is coming from. Shamia, you're playing the victim. I am not letting PJ come to your house, especially when you just made a big deal of Portia coming to your house for Gerald's birthday, who is a grown adult. How I'm going to say, how can you say anything about my child going to your house when she's a child and can't stand up for herself if anything does go left? So that's it.
Thanks so much, Angel.
Thanks, Kim. Bye.
Bye. All right. She did in less than 30 seconds. Okay. I was giving members a little bit more time. All right. Let me bring up Kiana. Kiana, what did you want to share? Kiana, you're muted. Kiana? I think people probably can't hear me. I don't know what's going on. Kiana? I'll bring you back up later. Kiana? Wait, hold on. Kiana, are you there? Kiana? Hello? All right. I'm going to take you down. All right. Let's bring up one LD. One LD, what's going on?
One lady to know, KEMPIRE.
Oh, sorry. What's going on, one lady to know?
No problem. I am a longtime listener, first-time caller. I met you last year when you came to DC, so I was excited to meet you in person.
Thank you.
Just really quickly, my comments. By the way, I'm an Aquarius. Don't give me any hard time for being an Aquarius.
Nope. We don't drag Aquarius over here.
I agree with most of the callers that there's a lot to unpack between Shamea and Porsha. They both have a lot of truth and lie in between them. Although I don't think Shamea is necessarily a full-on liar. I think she lies when it's convenient. And I think we should give Portia a little more credit for being strategic. She baked her plans in for a while. She might not bake it on the fly, might not do it on the fly, but she bakes it in because I do believe that she did not want Shamia on the show.
Mm.
If you think about it, Shamia had the lifestyle long before Portia did. And
Mm.
so she didn't want her to upstage her on this platform. So that's the main reason why she didn't want her there prior to Simon. So now that she's kind of on the financial playing field, maybe not exactly the same, but now that they're on similar playing field, she's like, no, I don't want her on this platform. Get her off. So
Mm.
that's the main thing. But I think Shami is operating more out of hurt than anything else.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Oof. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, I would love to come back to DC, y'all, but you know the way that DC is right now, I wouldn't ask y'all to come to DC because it's like there's a lot of things going on over there. But as soon as things change, we'll come back to DC. All right. Let me bring up Camille next. Camille, are you there?
I am. Oh my goodness. I think my. Ah,
It's okay. I can hear you.
sorry, I lost you for a second.
It's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So, my comment, I agree with pretty much everything that everyone's saying. I think that Shamia opened up a can of worms that requires so much more context because there's going to be a lot of hearsay between the two moms. And I think that she has enough grievances that she could have aired out specifically with Portia that she could have just laid on the table and
Mm.
like kept that because let's be real, Portia did not want her on the show. I believe every every time she says that I believe it. And but I'm also here for Portia not wanting her daughter around because if this is how you feel about me and my mom, there's going to be comments and kids hear things. And I don't want that. I wouldn't want that energy around my kid regardless.
Yeah.
So it's not that like I don't trust that you would harm my child. I don't think that she thinks that Shamia would ever do like purposeful harm, but look at what's her and Shamia's relationship is like because of what their parents were doing. It's just a trickle down effect. So her not wanting her daughter around, I completely agree. But I kind of wish that Shamia had kept it to just the beef between them because we can all be on Shamia's side for a lot of things that we would agree that Portia has done to her. But bringing the moms into it, that's just a whole can of worms. Were they married? Were they just, fooling around? When did her mom and like there's just so much more that you can't throw that out and then just leave the table and then start crying.
Yeah. That's
Did it.
true.
It just requires so much more conversation than just throwing it out there. Was it recent? Was it 40 years ago? Like when was it?
No, was it recent? Oh my gosh.
But that's when you just throw something out, you leave it up for the audience to now run with, which we're doing because we don't know because she just threw it out there,
Yeah.
and that's your mom and your father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's what I
Thanks.
gotta say.
Thanks, Camille. I mean, that's important to know. And you literally see when she's in the van, she starts crying. She's like, "You bringing up my parents? They've been married for 50 years." I mean, what did you think that she was gonna say when you bring up her mom? That's the thing. Like you start the conversation. I'm not saying that she was wrong, but now she's throwing your mother in there too. I'm like, oh, I can't. All right, let me. Okay, Born to Win. Try it again. Hold on. Let's see. Born to Win. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah. Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I just got done with you. Okay. So, all right. I do not like that Shamia crashed out. I just felt so bad for her in that moment. But let's be honest, I'm hearing people saying that yes, Portia was willing to and went to Andy asking him about having Shamia join. But let's not forget, like Portia played a game, right? She normally would do things in the back and then pretend in the front. So Candy has said this before, where she during the Black Lives Matter time during the pandemic when she didn't want them to showcase Candy's event because she was a part of the Black Lives Matter whole thing at that time too. She wanted them to only focus on her. Same thing when she wanted Nene out. She pretended, but then came crying to Nene, saying how life is so hard without her. So I think she plays the game where she pretends in the back end and then comes. So I think that was a whole strategic thing, especially to bring it to the forefront to say that she wanted Shamea on the show. When we all know Candy has been one of the one and only person that we know for a fact that has been working to get Shamea on the show.
Mm.
So I hate that it happened that way because I just feel like Porsha is playing like a real dirty game where Shamea looks like the bad person because she's reacting, but there's things that Porsha is doing on the back end, trying to make up with Kelly, strategic again, and doing it at the table, telling her, hey, we want to be here for you. We want to be your friend too. We want to do this, we want to do that. No, she was a, whore 2 weeks ago, sleeping with,
Porsha.
Phaedra, Phaedra's client. So I say that to say that everything is strategic and is to ice Shamea out. And I think Shamea being around the housewives and know the game because again, Porsha was her best friend once upon a time, and having Candy, she understands how everything goes and what Porsha is doing. So because of that, I think it's why she's reacting the way she's reacting. She's looking like the, cooker for Cocoa Pops, But anyways, have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Born to Win.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Let me bring up Tyler because I know Tyler got things to say. Before I start with Tyler, guys, don't forget to like today's video. It's easy for you as supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget to head on over to our Patreon. Follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/thekempire. We also had a RHOA live watch yesterday. You missed it, so you can't see a replay of it, but we'll do it again. So join us on Patreon today. It's pinned in the YouTube, but if you're watching the replay, head on over to the description for more details. All right, Tyler, what did you have to say about this episode?
A lot. Let me say this. Once you were formerly a close friend, a friend to my family, and now that you are very aware of what hurts me, you know how to manipulate things, you know how to be passive aggressive. You can look at me and tell when my feelings are hurt. You are strategically trying to be friends with Kelly and ice me out. Now I'm finna unload the clip. I'm sorry. I feel no type of way about what Shamea did. You have consistently played. You did it last year at the reunion when Shamea kept saying, I don't want to go into that. You kept bringing up the family and all this. You just knew that Shamea would never bring this stuff up because she has been loyal to you. And you know how bad she wants to be on this show. Let's be real. So you knew that you felt like she's not going to mention it because she knows if she goes that far, she got to go because there's no way to repair this friendship. Well, Shamea said F it and went ahead and said what needed to be said. And I feel no ways tired because Porsha, you the same way. You the same person went over somebody's house, all in their pool and doing all this and then turned around and married the husband. Girl, bye. Porsha, you didn't get up and want to fight because you knew Shamea would say more. That's what it is. You wanted to ice this girl out and played on her emotions, and she finally unloaded the clip. And you were sitting there wigging out and didn't know what to do. And Drew Sidora, I get so sick of you with this condescending voice. So Porsha. But Shamea, I will say this: what you do to others eventually come to you because you were the same person that wanted Drew to be out on the island on her own last year. You just didn't think that it would be that bad. But I'm gonna tell you something, Angela, your season is coming too. You talk all that mess because once Shamea leaves, who do you think they're gonna mess with? Because I don't see a world where Shamea can come back. I don't. And I like Shamea. I just don't. For her mental, I think that she should not do it. And this is not I can't stand Shamea thing. I'm being so serious for her mental.
Like, I don't want to see her get beat up by these women.
No, I mean, I don't, unless you're just gonna go ahead and spill everybody tea, Shamia. My God. I mean, because that's something you can come back from. But I do feel like you needed to do that because Portia has played in your face. She knows your emotions, she knows everything. And she was just giving this glaze at you when she was sitting up there gloating about making up with Kelly. She knew what she was doing. So Shamia said, you know what, you want to play? I'm gonna do it too. But that's all.
Ooh, thanks, Tyler. Woo, child. Perfect timing. All right. Let me try to bring up Keith. Keith's been trying to back down. I see you keep falling out, coming back, falling out, coming back. What's going on, Keith?
Hey, KEMPIRE. I don't know. It's your face is frozen, but I can hear you.
Oh,
And it's frozen at a very funny moment, so that's
oh
why.
no, no. Take a screenshot, send it to me.
Oh well. But I wanted to just say I don't think it's fair to blame Portia for Shamea not necessarily joining the show because if you are that interesting, production, they're going to try to get you on this show. And I don't think any housewife, especially knowing that Shamea and Portia, they came on the same season, by the way. So Portia doesn't have any type of leverage on stopping Shamea from joining the show. So I don't think it's fair for her to even put that blame on her. I think the only reason they even started considering Shamea, and I like Shamea, but I think the only reason they started considering her was because she married a rich man. And they needed to bring in some wealth to Atlanta. You know, once Kim Fields left, well, Kim Fields wasn't really doing much back then, but my point being is they wanted to bring in wealth into Atlanta. But lastly, I do want to say Portia is full of hot air and gas because why didn't she name who the uncle was? And it's kind of similar to the pastor situation. She didn't want to name who he was. I feel like Portia is lying. I do believe that her mother was trying to sleep with Shamea's mom. I mean, Shamea's mom. Shamea's dad. Shamea's dad. Because, like someone said, a young peach is now an old prune. So, like mother, like daughter. That's about it.
Oh, well, damn. Thanks, Keith. Well, damn. All right. Let's bring up Kira next. Kira, what's going on?
Hi, KEMPIRE. This is my first time calling, and I just had to call in for this episode.
Okay.
Two quick things. First off, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Drew was not necessarily lying where she was talking about being
Oh.
fingered. I mean, I've done pelvic floor therapy myself after having children. Long story short, they do some manual massaging. It's not anything sexual.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to get from it sexually, so I don't know where she was going with that, but I guess that's indicative of her character.
Ooh.
Going a little too far with the truth, and yeah. With Shamia, I felt for her because I saw myself as a teenage girl where I had a best friend and she did something similar where she stopped talking to me and she purposely used psychological warfare to make me react. And it was like little digs, like talk to people next to me, ignore me, all sorts of things. And if you look at the scene where Portia was eating the meatball thing, and she was trying to get napkins or something to wipe her. If you notice, Shamia's hand was actually trying to help her catch something. She was trying. If you look at the scene, you can tell that Shamia was trying to help her insert herself in the conversation, and Portia was acting like she was not there. She was doing that through that whole episode, acting like Shamia did not exist, and I think it just got to be too much for Shamia. So I empathize with her there. She was not built for this show. She should just get off, save herself while she still can, and enjoy her family. That's my take. Thank you, KEMPIRE.
Thanks, Kira. Take care. Wow. I mean, I could definitely see. I feel like there's truth in a lot of it. I don't feel like Portia's completely innocent, and I don't think Shamea is completely innocent. All right, let me get to the rest of these callers. We got Lovely Rain backstage. Lovely Rain, what did you want to share? You're muted, Lovely Rain. All right, Lovely Rain, gotta bring you down. Tutu's backstage. Tutu, what do you want to share?
Bonsoir, KEMPIRE. Do you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, KEMPIRE, I'm very disappointed. You have not watched Friends in the World Cup?
I know. I don't know why. I think maybe just the time that they've played. I just haven't had. I'm going to watch them versus Spain, though. I will watch them versus Spain.
Yes, I'm late on the live. I heard this and I had to come up because what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And otherwise, for Shamea, I believe Shamea would have been fine if she could pay Porsha dust since last season. She could have been that girl, the rich girl with a husband, the big house, the beautiful girls. but she cannot pay dust to Porsha. She had to have either the approval or the attention of Porsha, and that's why she is where she is now. That's all. And
Thanks, Tutu.
have a great night. And allez la France.
Bye. All right. Let me start this over. All right. Let me try Lovely Rain again. Lovely Rain, are you there? Nope. All right. Gotta bring you back down. Habshowit, are you there? I can't hear you though. Habshowit, I can't hear you. I don't know why. Drop out and call back in. I don't know. It is Mercury retrograde, so maybe something's going on with StreamYard. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Keep liking the videos. Easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Thank you guys so much for all of the super chats. Miss Lee, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Lee says, PJ and Miss Diane being the safer route to go is very telling. Shamea knew not to spray Porsha personally because she would have worn her out completely. Well, maybe that's the safer route. Someone's mama and their daughter? Damn, I don't know if that's the safer route. But okay. Look, okay. All right, Excommunicado's backstage. Excommunicado, what's going on? Excommunicado, you're muted. I don't know. Everyone's not hearing me. Let me bring up the K perspective. Can you hear me, K perspective?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, hey, KEMPIRE.
Hey.
I was going to say I agree with the person. I noticed that too. How I've noticed moments during the season how Shamea was trying to be friends with Porsche. Like I noticed several moments. I don't know if you did too. And I do want to point out, there's been a lot of people because I read the comments and stuff, and they're saying like basically like Porsha has been paying her dust. But if you look at it, you see Porsha has said a few things to her. Porsha said she was being defensive, which she had every right to be, because in that moment, Angela was accusing her of sleeping with a married man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then she also shushed Shamea when they were at the basketball tournament. So I feel like this conspiracy that there's a plan or plot to get Shamea out. I think that has some truth to it, because even with Porsha trying to be Kelly's friend all of a sudden, like that's weird too, so I think it's definitely something going on. I wish Shamea did not bring up Pilar and her mom at that dinner, but I also think that it's been a buildup. I feel like Shamea, where she goes wrong, and I put this in one of the comments on one of your posts, but I feel like she goes wrong with holding stuff in, and then she'll blow up at the wrong moment and she looking crazy. So I think I agree with Tyler. I think she just need to go ahead and just go ahead and just go be with her family.
So it worked. She got her off the show.
Yeah, and it's sad the way she got her off the show. I wish she would have just bowed out like you said last season, had her one season, but it's like now she might go down in history for being one of the worst housewives, at least in the Atlanta franchise. And it's unfortunate because I like Shamea, but it is what it is. I could be fair. Like I'm the type of person, I could be a fan of somebody, but I'm fair and I could be, truthful.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you for the K perspective.
No problem.
Bye. All right, let me try Excommunicado again. Hold on. Excommunicado, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're going in and out a bit, so
go ahead.
Okay. So I think it was nice for Shamea to have actually remained on the show for this season, because if she hadn't stayed till this season, the running narrative would have been that Shamea's mom betrayed her best friend by stealing her business, which was what came out of last season. So this was kind of to clear the air on the fact that there was a total different history on Porsha's mom's side. And I don't believe Porsha's story, because Porsha has a stick. Last season, it was why did you sleep with Fallon's husband? It was no, Drew slept with Dennis. Later at the reunion, it was Shamea also kissed Candy. At the beginning of this season, it's Kelly also slept with the pastor. Later on, it's now the mother. So when Porsha gets confronted with the truth, she brings up a story to actually throw off the narrative against her. So that's why I don't actually believe that story. But beyond that, I think Shamea can finally actually leave the show now because she's never going to win with this audience and this current cast. Porsha has actually learned this game well enough from last reunion. That's why she made up with Drew immediately and went in on Shamea the whole of the reunion. And then also this season, you see everybody went to Porsha's side and we're trying to like play on to Porsha and ice out Shamea. So with this current cast, she can never actually win. And another thing is that Shamea is someone who is trying to live a truth, like live a real life on reality TV where every other person is just playing the game of reality. So she actually can't make it work on this cast and with the way that it is. So I feel like the fine she could actually just let it go. She's cleared her mother's name and then let everything out on the table. So that's it for me.
All right. Thanks, Excommunicado. All right. Let me bring up Lovely Rain again. Lovely Rain, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Empire. Hey, how are you doing today, Empire?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Let's start off the show. Let's start it off. Okay, remember at the first beginning when they was out there doing the rope thing, you had all the big ones on one side and the little ones on the other. You knew that wasn't gonna work. And then you have Kelly on the ground with her legs up. And then she said, well, at least I wasn't with I'm not stealing nobody's boyfriend. I'm not stealing nobody's man. So you still backhanding Porsha. I wouldn't trust that little leprechaun. Then you got Shamea. Everybody saying Shamea was holding stuff in. First of all, Shamea, you just said in your confessionals that why Porsha won't forgive me. So what did you do to Porsha so Porsha do have to forgive you? Because that's what you said. And then you bringing up my child. Don't bring up my child in this situation because why would I let my child come to a house that I don't know if she's going to be protected or you might say something to my child and I'm going to have to come over there and whoop you up. So no, just leave my child at home. You keep your kids where you are. The same thing when she was talking about Porsche mom. Everybody saying that they believe it whatsoever. Maybe it's true. Because I think both of their mama was out there in the streets. First of all, your mom's supposed to be a church going lady, but she's sitting up in the club with her titties pushed up to her mouth. Come on, be for real. Let's not twist it up. They all in the streets. That's why Atlanta got the main CDC. Be for real. I mean, so many diseases up there is ridiculous. They swap. And the thing of it is, Shamil, you played yourself. K. Michelle's not gonna come check on you simply because the reason is because she feels like you betrayed her. Because if Ken and them told you that, you should have kept that to yourself. And then K. Michelle wouldn't been feeling the way that she was feeling. So the stuff that Shamia have done, and no, it's not a hate train on Shamia. Shamia did all this stuff to herself. You holding this stuff, saying you holding this stuff in and all that. But see, you wasn't ready for that smoke when Porsha sent that right back on you. And people saying Porsha didn't say the man's name. That's good she didn't say the man's name because the man might try to get up for defamation. And like I said, leave the moms out of it. And last year, Shamia did talk about Porsche mom first because they both was in there. And she was about a dog to bring a bone would carry a bone, stuff like that. So Shamia brought the thing up first. So that's why Porsche went to the internet. Folks need to need to watch the show and get the thing straight. And it's just ridiculous that y'all up here fussing about moms that did stuff back in the 60s. I mean, like, who cares? They all slept around back in the day.
Not in the 60s.
I mean, be for real.
It was probably like the 80s, but okay. All right. Thanks, Lovely Rain. Thank you for calling it. Bye. Not the 60s. All right. Let's bring up Cynthia next. Cynthia, what's going on?
Hey, Campfire. Can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing, Campfire? Great show.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm a Cancer like Porsha. Porsha's a bully. I mean, can we just be for real? And also, Campfire, my mom is a Taurus, and one thing I noticed about Taurus, once you push them to the wall, they will eventually explode. I don't know what the vitriol is with Shamea this season. I mean, like, I'm Team Shamea all day, and I think everybody's just trying to secure a spot, and that's it. And I don't believe Porsha. Why would Shamea's father still be with Shamea's mom if she tried to sleep with the brother? Come on now, can we be realistic?
Okay.
And that's it.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thanks, Empire.
Bye. Not the 60s. Y'all are best in the chat. Let me say thank you. We had a super chat from Sailor Moon. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sailor says, Shamea is the poster girl for therapy. There are people with less money and time, but find time to help themselves. Shamea is a people pleaser and more. Yeah, she already said she ain't got time for therapy. All right. All right. I did see that on the Humble Brag podcast, Cynthia Bailey did confirm that someone at the reunion does reveal that they are with child. She did say that. Okay. She said that, and they were not on her side of the couch. Now, some of you are gonna be like, why y'all not mad at Cynthia? Well, Cynthia was there. She was on the cast, and she is confirming because someone else decided to confirm on these streets. That's the difference. Someone else came in. Same way we were talking about how Oprah, if someone from someone in the audience came out and talked about the Whitney story, then if Oprah talked about it, then be like, well, someone already spilled the tea. All right. Let's bring up, last but definitely not least, Habashawit. Habashawit? Are you there? You're muted.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What did you want to share?
Sorry I didn't watch this episode because we were in a wedding ceremony, something like that.
Okay.
And I had a conversation about the Real Housewives of Atlanta with white people, and they were saying, is this what the Black American want to represent Atlanta? They were saying that, and I was a bit shocked by that. And I watch you recap now, and the Shamea and the Porsha thing is a bit messy.
I bet.
I mean, a lot messy, but pattern matters. So I don't know which season was, but Porsha sent a text to all the ladies about icing out Lenny, and this season maybe she did that to ice out Shamea.
Oh.
So you never know. And Shamea is housewife and Porsha is a whole wife.
Oh.
So the mother, the daughter, maybe the generation be broken for her daughter, I hope.
Okay.
And that's all I can say.
Thank you so much for
It's a
calling.
bit sad. It's a bit dark this season.
Thank you.
Angela, I want Angela to be like kinder with her confessions. It's not nice all the time to be like that mean.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Have a nice time.
You
Bye.
too. All right. Queenister, are you there?
Queen Esther, yes.
Oh, Queen Esther. I was like, Queenister. What's going on?
I just wanted to say that I do think everybody is against Shamea because of Porsha. I think this because they can't move forward with her. Even if she tries to say sorry, they just don't want to. They want to keep it, and I don't understand that. That's it.
Okay. All right. Short and sweet. I love it. All right. Like Kelly. Thank Queen Esther. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. I've been live for almost completely 3 hours. Okay. But no, it's been fun. It's been fun. Thanks to everyone that sent in super chats. Thank you to everyone that joined our mailing list at thekempire.com/join. Thank you to everyone that became a new member of our Patreon. I'll probably be there live tonight for a special after show talking more about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And don't forget, we have a live show. KEMPIRE After Dark returns to New York City September 25th at the Green Room 42. Go get your tickets today. There's also a live stream option as well. And thank you to our King's Guards and our channel members. We appreciate you guys being here. I hope you guys enjoyed our recap. Replay crew, we haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and your thoughts on what we all had to say. Are you Team Shamea, Team Porsha, or Team you? I'm going to be Team me because I feel like there's so much context and history that we just don't know about. And some of it we can't believe, right? Some of it we do, some of it we can't believe. All right, keep liking the video, guys. Shout out to all of our sponsors for today. More information on all of our sponsors from Boll & Branch, Factor, to Baskin Lather, and of course, MyFitnessPal will be available in the description. Take advantage of your discounts while the discount lasts, all right? Talk to you guys later. Thank you for being here.
Here we go now.